The Falls Count Everywhere podcast would like to mention our friends at the following. We Talk Wrestling. For the one stop you need for the most intriguing stories and headlines, and info on independent shows in multiple regions, We Talk Wrestling has you covered. Subscribe to Facebook's #1 interactive community for professional wrestling today. Pro wrestling on Tuesdays are a blast with the Wrestle Talk podcast. Join the Night Owl, DJ Big Sexy, Luke Roberts, The Alpha, Jay Wade, Nightmare Jones, and many others as they bring you the hottest takes on the major circuits, showcase interviews with various indie stars, and the only place to get news on the most popular fantasy wrestling promotion, the FWWC. Catch them every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central. Find all of their media outlets on their website at WrestleTalkPodcast.com.
Before each and every show, we like to remind our audience that freedom is never free, and all of us should be grateful to those who lay it all on the line. To all our first responders, military, and volunteers that help our nation every day, we love you and appreciate the sacrifices you make to protect all of us.
Get ready for episode number 112 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast, as we welcome seasoned ring veterans, actors, voice actors, and current AIWF Television Champion, Hollywood Flynn Hendrix. This podcast is scheduled for one episode, where falls count everywhere.
And good evening, everybody. It is Sunday night, and you know what time it is.
Party time.
Exactly. It is time to party here. It is the Falls Count Everywhere podcast here with episode number 112. And we're welcoming everybody here from Facebook, from YouTube, from Twitch, and of course from Twitter at FCE Podcast. We welcome all of you here. I am Rough Cut Rick Ruby here on the left, as always, and to the right. Of course, this week, the Gem City Mouse Zmiz. Z, we've got a lot going on here tonight, but man, how has your week been going on since I kind of blew it for us last week, but I did. Luke Roberts did reach out to me and say there might be some redemption down the road before the end of the year. So,
well, we got to go again because I went in this time. Like I need to get in there. I knew more of those questions than I thought I was going to. I should not be so hard on myself about wrestling knowledge. But I don't want to fail people. That's the thing on it. But no, it was good. It was a good show last week. It was fun having Luke and the guys on. It was a good time. We had a great day of great week of mainstream wrestling. I was able to catch all 5 except for Impact. So no, Raw, NXT. Never mind. A lot more.
I was going to say Collision or what?
Yeah, I got Rampage in, I got Collision in, I got Dynamite in this week, I got Raw, NXT, and SmackDown in. So, and I heard you got a local show in last night too. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and get into that here. Last night, of course, was not on the card. Of course, I'm doing some spot shows, here and there for American Championship Wrestling throughout my recovery from surgery, recovery from injury. I did not get surgery. Just get that out of the way. But can't believe it's been almost 3 months I've been in recovery right now. Can you believe that crap? 3 months.
It happens.
God,
my wife actually goes into surgery end of the month. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't know why I'm sharing this. Hold on.
That's all right.
Hey, take a look at my entire desktop, everybody.
Way to fumble the ball.
What was that? Okay, so if there's any botches here, we just already got that out of the way, huh? Well, hopefully you got it out of the way. So last night was there was a lot of shows down in Springfield, Missouri. We had MSW, Mid States Wrestling. Indie Mania down in Blytheville, Arkansas for Arkansas Wrestling Association. Oh my God, there's some others that are around Tennessee and of course around here, around the area. But and for those who are watching, make sure you're sharing the show, man. We want to make sure we're including everybody in here. We want to interact with all of you. Anybody that's in the chat, go ahead and go ahead and say hi, man. We'd love to interact. If there's any questions that you got here, once again, probably I think it's her probably watching us here. If I recollect anybody who greets us here, then that's who is watching right now. How about we just point a little bit this? Let's get into this. We're going to feature our buddy Tyler here with our guest of honor with Tito Santana last night at SICW at the Bear Claw Fairgrounds. Great turnout for the show. Like I said, we're trying to post up some videos on TikTok so you can see footage of that large crowd that was there last night.
There's some great footage you sent me, by the way. Yeah. I asked and you delivered. I want that to be known because we have started throwing videos to TikTok on little things. One of them watching this man get beat up by two of my favorite SICW members. So
I was gonna say Tyler's gotta watch what he wears when he's making his statement. That's why I'm just saying.
Stealing people's gold. That's crazy. Crazy, Tyler.
Oh my
Dangerous
God.
Man.
That is just nuts. And so Tito here, of course, here's Tyler again. And that, of course, that is
stealing somebody's belt.
Yeah. Hey, but it's actually the replica of this Intercontinental Championship. But this replica was debuted by Tito before he lost it to the Macho Man Randy Savage. And that is actually we'll get into that here, but see, here's a better look at that up front. I'll tell you, that's like one of my most favorite belts, and that's why I own this replica, by the way. And got to actually chance to talk to Tito just a tad bit. Found out he's a Yankees fan, which I mean, I guess I can understand, being up around New York all this time, but I'm definitely not going to pay $200 to go watch the Yankees up in nosebleed seats. That's for damn sure. But good thing out of last night, look at that. He actually signed the back of the belt.
That's awesome. That is not as cool as that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
No, they're both great. They're both great. I mean, they're both great.
No, that's sick, dude. I'm a fan of that plate style on the white strap, though. So I'm a big fan of Cody's strap. When Cody brought it back, and then who else had the white strap?
Oh my gosh, I don't. Well, the Warrior had the yellow strap.
Yeah, he had the yellow strap
I think that's when he started doing different colors.
I truly think they need to bring that back with the IC title, like where the different wrestlers had the different color straps and stuff. Like I thought that was kind of cool take on one of the belts and like kind of making it set to them, but not at the same time. It was really I like that. I missed that unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only thing here is the color straps would actually be beneficial now. I mean, well, you got black and white, but it's kind of hard to determine which big W someone's wearing each week, but on WWE, but
the IC title's still a little different than the rest of them, buddy. Like, don't give it knock. I mean, I've had to come to warm up to the new style of the title, but it's not bad now. I still think the US title is the best main card title for WWE, but I miss the old style IC title.
Wow. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like I said, this one debuted, and this was like one of my favorite belts of all time. I mean, if I had to go look, I mean, I've got a list. I think I did a show like way back, like the best looking titles, then like the ugliest titles. And I think on that list was WWE's current Intercontinental title.
Title though, so it is a very ugly title. But how you eventually warm up to them, like okay, I guess you can stay. My title is the ECW Black Gold title. Like, I still find that one cool. I don't know why. Maybe it's because Mark Henry was just a boss with it.
Yeah, because I think, well, like I said, the ugliest title, if you can remember back in the wretched era of WCW 2000, when they decided to come up with the Cruiserweight Tag Team title, look that up. That was like the most horrific title of all time. That was atrocious.
The title's trash.
Oh, that was total trash. There is no doubt about it, dude. That was total trash.
I would have rather won the Diva title than that title. I'd rather have a big, beautiful. Actually, I have it right there. That's right. I got a replica, little replica. Come here, Nate. Let's show it off.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
the Nate's wearing the Divas title. That's like sacrilegious. What
It's
the hell,
Nate's
dude?
oh man, Scotty just fell down.
Oh shoot, we're going to move right on to our first topic of tonight, and we are going to we'll post this up here because you posted on your personal page, or maybe on We Talk Wrestling.
It was on We Talk, yeah.
But you watched this week's SmackDown, and you were not bothered. You were bothered from it, but you did not go into detail what was bothering you.
No, because I'm
thinking to myself here as we're going to do as we digress. We're going to do a new feature here. We don't have an intro video for our promotions, but we do have a ticker, and we got some codes here for you. So kind of check in on the ticker for the upcoming shows and these shows coming up. So look at that.
Ruby's been at work.
Yeah, I've tried to do a little something to do a little bit different because I just want to stay on and stay current.
I can't wait to see Brandon Espinosa.
So I'm thinking about what I saw on SmackDown. So I'm thinking it's not LA Knight beating Top Dollar. No. That's nothing. The whole with the Charlotte and Asuka, that can't be anything here.
Nope.
So that's not it. So I'm thinking about everything else, and it's got me down to two things, and I'm just going to take a guess because we already know about the major line of what's going on, and I know how we all play it out. But my guess would be Rey Mysterio taking the U.S. title off of Austin Theory. That's my guess.
That is not.
Oh,
I was confused and like, what the hell is going on and why would we do this? I mean, Austin can bring it back, but like, okay. Escobar, obviously, Ray was supposed to win potentially the one match where he got the small bump on his head where they threw up the X and said, "Hey, we're not going to do it right now because he hit really hard." When him and Escobar had their match, right?
Yeah.
Like week prior, 2 weeks prior, or whatever it was for the number one contender. But then to have Escobar get beat up by Austin Theory, only to have Ray come in and win the belt, like I'm confused. I hope it gives us a good segment between him and Dominic. So there's a silver lining to me, like them both being champions and stuff and being single champions, and maybe we can get something there. But no, the end of SmackDown once again made me turn off my TV in disgust, upset, mad, and all that because my boy Jay decided to look at the camera and go, "I'm out of the bloodline, out of the Usos, out of WWE, I'm out, deuces," and walked out of the crowd. I'm invested, man. That's all I can say. I'm invested in this storyline, and I believe in Jey Uso as main event Jey Uso so much that I am not happy about this. But I'm also not one of those jabronis that think he's going somewhere else.
Yeah, so let's kind of get into that a little bit, and as hopefully I can just do a quick acknowledgement of this. This is our hashtag of the week. Stop it now. So, yeah, this is what I'm going to take down these codes here for just a tad. Oh, wait, what did I do? Oh, okay. So we're going to take down these codes for just a tad and then also the ticker. We're going to bring the ticker probably back up here in just a little bit. Just work with us here. So this is what I'm talking about here. If I share my window again. This is from Pro Wrestling World on Facebook. I mean, just stop it. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, well, Jay's contract is I think is over now, and he's going to go show up in London and all in." And I think these guys may be sarcastic, but dude, this is time that you could have spent somewhere else doing something productive than this crap. Come on, seriously, no one's going to buy this at all. This is not an official match, by the way, everybody.
I do like how they have it up here, the breaking news, in an alternate universe.
Right.
So, yes, all for the multiverse. I'm all for this, but, like, logically, is it going to happen? I was surprised. I did watch Cody Rhodes' documentary. Have you gotten a chance to do that yet?
God, bro, I wish I had time. I mean, I wish I had
Dude.
I mean, I wish I had time to do. I mean, there probably will be some time this week. I'll make it at some point. So,
for one, sorry,
you're good.
For one, must watch. Definitely went up into my top 3. Okay, definitely one of my top 3 documentaries for WWE. It's actually number 1. Cody's was really good, like really good. CM Punk and then Chris Jericho is rounding out my top 3. By the way.
Wow.
But they show footage and talk about AEW. So like they showed footage from AEW. And I know AEW's getting away with showing footage of like Kevin and all those guys from ROH because they have the rights and whatnot, but you know, it's wrestling. You never know, but I'm with Ruby. If you're not in the business, shut up. And even if you're in the business, shut up. Like,
right.
Stop opening rumors up for nothing when there's nothing there. Like, I don't know. I would eat a shoe on TV on air if Jey Uso shows up in Wembley. I will figure out how to boil that thing correctly so I can gnaw on it. Like,
a little sauce on it.
If it really happened, like, think about how huge that would be, dude.
Right. But like I said, this all pans out to Tony Khan calling out Triple H, to show up in London. I'm like, okay, he's going to go and sail overseas for what? They're not going to dive into this. We all know it's a work.
Part of me still really hopes that, like, Triple H on All Out Day, right, takes a picture and CGI's Wembley Stadium right behind him and posts it on TikTok. Like, he's not even there. He's in his couch, in his underwear, watching Frozen for the 19th time with his girls. Like, and he posted a CGI photo of him in front of Wembley. Dude, it would shut down Twitter. It would kill the internet, and it'd be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, well, I don't. Like I said, we all know it's not going to happen, but you kind of wonder why now it's getting everybody out there. And what about this? I forgot which local promotion actually slipped in with saying that with featuring Rikishi appearing, and they actually said on the flyer before he's a special official at Payback. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Seriously?
Dude? Yes.
This is why I said, even if you're in the business, shut up.
Oh my God, smart promoter. Come on, dude. You don't do that. I mean, I think they took it down, but nevertheless, it got seen by someone's eyes. So that, but I mean, but it's stupid. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because now you're blowing, because they could come after you if you're doing something like that.
Right.
Don't even mention. You should have just mentioned, hey, I'm, WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi showing up. So that's all you need to know.
That's somebody I want to meet so bad. Rikishi's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Why they have not brought him into this yet with this storyline is beyond me. Why not? Soon. I sure hope soon.
When Jey Uso finally gets done in Wembley in the AEW, he'll come back.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Him and Jimmy will set up their match for WrestleMania. Rikishi will be special guest referee, and Roman will be sitting at commentary with his title that he's held for 19 years.
For
And we're still all going to be eating it because it's going to be only in the 6th inning there, probably.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 19 years from now, right? Oh, my goodness.
There's one thing I want to bring up before we bring our wonderful guest on tonight. Did you see this little photo? Like this is gold. Okay, I know we got golden memes tonight too. Tonight,
yeah, we got golden memes tonight. Yeah,
this is pure gold without words. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So
that is an excellent photo of the one known as Kane or Glenn.
Right.
And Al freaking Snow. Why did we not get this Al Snow on live TV? This Al Snow would have been awesome, dude. I thought it was Eddie at first. I really did. I thought it was Eddie at first. My first glance.
Oh, no. I could tell it's not Guerrero.
I just glanced at it. I was kind of like scrolling.
Yeah.
And it just like slid up on my Facebook. And I'm like, wait a minute, back up.
Oh, my God.
But that's a great photo.
And just so you know, I've got actually older photos. Or I got access to older photos. I think I got access to the older photos of Glenn when he was around this area where he first started.
Well,
just saying, putting that out there. So
he went right to the University of God dang it! What is our college? No, I know he's from Bowling Green, but I'm talking. He came up here to QU, Quincy University.
That's right. He
did a year here at QU.
He's from Bowling Green. Yes.
But that's a sick photo. Like I'm all about this photo right now.
That is crazy.
Go away. There we go.
That is crazy.
All right, I had to share. Sorry.
Wow.
Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Oh my gosh. Well, we are going to get set here, and I think we are done for our opening here. Our opening here this evening. But we're getting ready here to bring on our future guest of the evening, everybody. Our future guest here this evening has been wrestling across 15 states, and mainly around the southern half of the country, pretty much for most of it here. He's been a vet for 16 years. He is, of course, he's got major projects going in, even being a voice actor. He's actually an actor out of his home city in Nashville, Tennessee. And he's also the current AIWF Television Heavyweight Champion. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and the only Hollywood Flynn Hendrix, everybody.
Oh, there it is. How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
Hey, Flynn, how you doing, man? I see you're sporting your gold here a little bit here off to the side.
Oh, absolutely. Got to show, got to represent, got to be a one-man shill everywhere I go.
Oh, my gosh. Everywhere you go. And it seems like just by looking, you've got a busy, you lead a busy life, my friend.
Don't remind me because my wife reminds me all the time, and she ain't happy about half of it.
So I guess, with all this in that realm, is it really true? Happy wife, happy life?
Yeah, it is. And I think the one thing is you got to find that balance. You got to find the balance and make time for the family if that's what you want to do. But to each their own is the way it's
I'm going to pump the brakes on that because my wife and I literally just had this conversation the other day. It is not happy wife, happy life. It is not. It should not be that way. It should be.
That's true.
It should be happy spouses. Then go from there. Do whatever else.
Happy spouses, happy houses.
There it is.
There you go.
It was in my
I agree
head.
with that.
It was in my head, and then I lost it as soon as I said it. I'll be honest, but no, man. My wife and I literally had this conversation the other day about it. We went on this nice little ride. I didn't want to go. She wanted to go get gas. And we went. We had to go a whole city over to get gas because it's so much cheaper, like $1 cheaper. And then we came back home and we just had a nice conversation. I still owe her gizzards though. So
But I think I got to say happy wife, happy life, because my wife is basically stuck raising 3 children, myself included. So, I got to give her due on that one.
We have 5. Well, she does.
Oh,
I have 4. She has, me. So that's 5.
that's a handful too. She must be a saint.
She's a baller.
Yeah, we all act like little kids at times when it comes to this business.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Especially
not just this business. I'm sitting here looking at his DBZ figures. Don't even. It's not just about this business.
It might be an unhealthy obsession. I don't know.
I'm a big kid heart. I mean, look, I got little Miz here, and
right. Respect for having the Miz right there. Got to show some love there.
Always, my buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, he did have what did you have up there? Oh yeah, you had a tugboat up there.
I had tugboat, but Frank fell off. He didn't like it.
Yeah,
R-Truth was there for a little bit, and then the real homie, Omos.
Oh my God! Can we pause real quick on that, because I just seen a video recently of R-Truth about wanting to audition to be Chelsea Green's tag team partner.
Why is that not a thing? Oh my God. That is a beautiful idea. Like she should totally have audition.
Hilarious.
Her and Sonya both should work together on it to like replace her. And then, oh my God, that's beautiful. That's
if R-Truth comes back.
Put R-Truth on a creative, and I think WWE would be in a wonderful spot.
I'll do one better. Put him on commentary on Mondays. I think you got a 3-man booth on Fridays. Put him on Mondays and just see what happens.
No, because I think he might ruin himself like Mr. Booker T does in NXT.
No, sorry.
Fair point. Fair point.
No, I think R-Truth, like, what makes R-Truth so great is the little doses of his comedy genius. I think if we got too much of it, it would maybe tarnish his ability that he has. I'm not saying R-Truth couldn't do it, because R-Truth is legitimately one of my favorite professional wrestlers. Like, he gave me whole reason why I started watching Impact Wrestling.
But it's the sporadic pop-ups at the random times where the comedy
and that's what makes him like so freaking awesome, is that just random. Come on, when you think of R-Truth and he's getting a little wee ladder and trying to go up it,
or he's getting an invisible person over. I mean,
he gets the ladder and goes in the Royal Rumble. He's like, oh, I thought it was the Money in the Bank. Like, that stuff was gold, man. R-Truth is a saint.
Oh my job for life. He's got a job for life.
Sorry for the
man. I don't know. He he was former NWA heavyweight champion in the TNA era, and he carried the title well. So
not once, but twice.
Yes.
And he was amazing then.
Yeah.
Not that he hasn't always been amazing, but he was so good. So good.
No, the guy can still work, and he's in his early 50s.
Oh yeah.
It's like he doesn't show his age at all. It's like
no, he does not age. It's ridiculous.
Around here locally, there's 3 guys that drink from that fountain. It's R-Truth, Brian James, and Gary Jackson. If you know those two,
Brian James is a fact.
Brian James. Which, by the way, he did have to have minor surgery, so
he'll bounce back.
But he's fine. He'll be cleared in a couple of weeks. So that's me, who's had to rehab without surgery for the last 3 months and still not 100%, but almost there. So
Brian James is one of my favorite local guys. He's awesome.
So, we're not talking about the Brian James accident, though you didn't know, but
no, not that one. Oh. Not that one.
Oh, there's another. Oh, okay.
No.
I'm not trying to burn any bridges here.
I was saying, no, that Brian James doesn't drink from that fountain, brother. He does not.
No, I was about to say, I'm going to let you guys run with it, but
not that Brian James. He's your dad still trying to be cool. I'll say it. Not that I don't enjoy it.
Aaron, what's going on, man? Once again, guys, to those who are watching, for those who have not chimed in yet, make sure you're sharing the show. Like I said, we're just now getting into our heart of our notes here, And of course, with our featured guest here, once again, Mr. Hollywood Flynn Hendrix, who is the current AIWF Television Champion, sitting right there to his left. And I'm going to go ahead. Oh, yeah, Tyler finally showing up. Hey, Tyler, thanks for showing up, buddy. Tyler, by the way, Tyler, you missed all the photos if you didn't see from last night. So
stop stealing people's titles, Tyler.
He just stole this. That's all. I just let him borrow it.
No, he didn't. He totally had Big Texan's title.
Oh, right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Our beautiful video that you sent me of him and Big Texan and my good friend, Bobby D, asking who's going to win.
Right. Well, and I put him in that spot, to be fair, and I said
I don't care.
But, hey, Justin's here.
Hey, Justin.
Oh, there's a good guy, Justin. How's it going, Justin?
Oh, yeah. So Justin, awesome. It's good.
Oh, yeah. You remember how I told you 3 people messaged me saying that this guy's a good guy? He's one of them.
Oh, there you go.
Justin literally reached out.
It's true. I don't know about the other 2, but if he says it's true. The other 2 may be lying. So
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh man. Yes. Let's see. So let's go ahead here, and I'm going to go ahead and get started here with our first question here to Mr. Hendrix. And what I want to know here is which wrestlers had inspired you to become a professional wrestler? And at that time when you were getting ready to go in, did you have a personal mission or like goals that you wanted to achieve at that time when you decided to get involved in the business?
Well, it all started when I was a sophomore in high school, really. And I had met Coco Beware down in Memphis through a family connection that we had.
Oh, wow.
And I saw him, and it kind of blew my mind that we were almost the same height, because I'm about 5'6", 5'7". So typically, you think wrestlers are these big giant people, but then I see somebody that's my size that can do it. And then, he's like, once you graduate college, which is a rare thing for a wrestler to say, I'll train you. So, that's 2 weeks before WrestleMania 21. Then 2 weeks later, I'm sitting at home and I see the best match of all time, Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle. And I'm fully hooked in and solidified. This is what I want to do. And that literally got me on a deep dive, as if I didn't appreciate Shawn Michaels enough as it was, going back and just watching everything this guy did. And he's always been the top of my Mount Rushmore as a professional wrestler, as a sports entertainer, because he's like the total package. But then you see guys like Eddie Guerrero or Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, all these guys that are great utility players that can fit in wherever you put them. And the stuff they do looks so believable and it's so technically sound that you can't find fault in it. Like, it makes you suspend the disbelief if you watch them work most of the time, unless they're doing something comedic. But guys like that are really what got me into it. And then I started doing dives on Finley because I was running an Irish character for a while. And I figured if you're going to, study anybody, that's the best guy to go to. But, guys like that would probably be the ones that kind of like inspired me the most to do it. And the ones that I still study from today, probably the biggest ones are Shawn, Eddie, and Tully more than anybody else.
Wow, what a great mix.
That's a great trio pick. Like,
absolutely.
And I'm not a Shawn guy.
I love Brett, though. Don't get me wrong. I love Brett, but it's just the personality.
Brett screwed Brett.
Personality. Yeah, that's true, though. I mean, you force the hand. I hate to say it, but
yeah.
Brett screwed Brett.
Yeah. But like I say, you mentioned Tully. I mean, a great television champion Tully was, and now you've got a title that looks so reminiscent of what the NWA title did look like. I mean, your title's bigger, but it's it's still a sharp looking belt. And it's kind of funny how some weeks it just hits me like how we got something in common in a little way, because I've told somebody this last night. I was speaking to a fan, but this coming Tuesday would be 27 years ago today that I had my first official match. And wow. In the locker room, and at that time for that show, one of the special guests that we brought in was Coco Beware.
Man.
And I kid you not. And the other person that actually was drawn in at that time was Sapphire.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And that was like one of her last few appearances before she suddenly passed away about a month or so later, unfortunately.
Man.
But it was great to kind of know that. I'm like, wow, someone that knew around the realm of Coco Beware. And it's like, and that's pretty freaking cool.
Absolutely. And then he didn't ultimately end up training me, though, because I come to find out a guy that I went to high school with that was a year younger than me was wrestling for a promotion down here that was run by Tony Falk. And I got connected with him and started talking. So I reached out to Coco because it was right after I graduated high school, getting ready to go to college. And, you know, I said, hey, I just wanted you to know I found a wrestling school up here that's run by a guy named Tony Falk. And I think you cross paths in Memphis. And he said, oh, if Tony's running it, he'll take care of you. So you have my blessing to go as long as you stay in school, which again is a weird thing for a wrestler to say. So it really still sticks with me to this day. But, you know, Tony's the one where it all ended up starting. And absolutely for the comment too, I would love to join up at SICW and, you know, maybe get in the ring with Greg at a time or two, you know, title for title. Who knows? Let's make it happen.
Shoot. Well, tonight, on this past episode of SICW All-Star Wrestling, Greg actually put the title on the line against one of the SICW roster members. And how fitting would a television title be on the line on a television show?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the old tagline that I'm using now, because you hear people say that if you want to make it to the big time, you have to be TV ready. You don't have to get ready. You have to be TV ready. So that's literally what I'm using this for, is to take it, travel, and see who these talent are that think they're TV ready. And if they can beat me in that 15-minute time frame, then clearly they are. But nobody's done it yet.
And right before Zach gets to his question, one of my pet peeves, promotions that have a TV title and don't have TV. Just saying.
Yes. Or another one is world champions that don't travel outside of the county.
How the world champion at Ozark County, Arkansas.
County champion. So you dived a little bit into who you had train you and stuff. How did that like all really fold out, and how long were you getting trained before you had your first match?
So in all honesty, originally, when I started talking about going to Tony's, a guy named Chris Michaels, who I'm sure a lot of people around this area may be familiar with, he's been around, he's done it all. He was very instrumental in working with a lot of the guys like Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin, Randy Orton, all those guys at OVW. You know, you go back and you watch the footage, you see him. He was originally running the training school, but he and Tony had a falling out. And it ended up being Tony and his son LT and another guy named AM Vision, who was a very underrated performer, running the school. And then, you know, guys like Tracy Smothers would come in, Kid Cash came in, different guys would come in like that and, you know, share their knowledge. And it was a class of 5 originally. One guy dropped out. 4 of us ended up working through it. And then out of that class, now I'm still the only one that's still going. I think one of them unfortunately passed away. The other guy, I have no idea what happened to, but we ended up like essentially sequentially having our first matches. The guy who passed away had his the month before me. I started in July and had my first match in November, but continued training on after that up until probably about April or May of the following year. But then I started traveling more and getting more experience. And then I started going to different seminars with different guys to get more experience as well. But by the time that I got out of there, a new class was coming in. And there were also people that were trying to give advice that wasn't worth listening to. I don't say that in any kind of arrogant, egotistical way, but they were guys that had never been anywhere. They were trying to get us to do things that got no reactions with the crowd and just would pretty much show their ass. I'm sorry if I can't cuss, but, you know, they would do that if you didn't listen to them, but then you go out and they have a match and nobody cares, you know? So like, it was stuff like that. So I eventually moved on and started traveling more and started running with guys that I could actually learn from in the car as we were going to the shows as well. Not only working with them physically, but getting a better understanding of psychology, or, hey, if you don't do that well, don't do it in a match, practice it. But if you can't do it well, just don't do it because you make it look bad. You know, just basically learning all the fundamentals and foundations outside of what Tony and LT taught us in the ring too.
And that's really what it is too. Even though you go through the training, being able to be that sponge outside of that world and still soaking up and still getting that knowledge and still grabbing onto whatever little bits and pieces you can makes it so much more wonderful.
Absolutely. And that's something I think that for a while, a lot of people just didn't get. They thought, hey, if I go to a wrestling school, doesn't matter who's running it, I'm going to know what to do. I'm going to have these great matches. But if you don't know how to piece it together, or you're not in any kind of, cardiovascular or physical shape, it's not going to work. And then on top of that too, if you don't invest in learning the craft, learning the people that came before you, getting gear, like these things that I've seen so many people do, and it just, they fade out, they fizzle out, but it's the nature of the business to an extent, but it's still frustrating at the same time, because if it were so easy as that, everybody would be doing it.
It's also nice to, skin the dead weight too. So unfortunately,
for sure.
like not everyone's cut out for this world. Man, I thought I wasn't at first. I'll tell you that. Right. I about folded in, and it was more mental game than the physical game or anything. So,
and I mean, I'll be honest too. For the longest time, I was just the guy that would take the hazing, take the ribbing or whatever, and just keep my mouth shut, because I was small. I was like 140, 150 pounds when I first started. And I didn't want to cause any grief in the locker room, because it was, established people that were doing the ribs, and I just let it go. But at the same time too, that's one of those things too, where it could cause people to break and just not come back. But, you keep coming back week after week, show after show, and eventually, you earn their respect. But that's just one of those things. I do kind of wish I would have gone back more and maybe stood up for myself to some people, the ones that were taking it a little too far, if that makes sense.
100%.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, it's very important. I mean, like I said, I got trained with some local guys, but those local guys were also trained by major names. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, the play on, what your move basics are. I mean, I was pretty much ready to take a punishment. But it's all about learning how to bump, learning your basics first. And then, there's just a line of things to go by that leads you up to like bigger things. Trust me, it's just like you start out small with the simpler things till you get something that's more, a little bit more complicated, and then you just work out from there. I mean, and you gotta know that. And like I said, I was in training for like 4.5 months, 3 times a week, sometimes 4, before I was out there ready to go. Because I just wanted to, make sure everything was polished and I was ready to go. And then
absolutely, because you don't want to embarrass yourself, because it's hard to make. You can't make a second first impression.
Right. Exactly. And make sure that when you take a back bump, you don't rubberneck yourself too much, or else you're gonna have a.
I've seen that happen plenty of times.
It happened to me the first time.
It ain't fun.
Doug yelled at me so hard it wasn't funny.
Take a tough on the back of the old noggin, bro. That does not feel good.
Oh, man.
So, during your time in the business that you've had so far, whether you just started or even years going into, or whatever the case may be, did you have any veterans? I know you mentioned Chris Michaels. I know you've had others that you come across. Is there any veterans that you knew on a more close basis that you got advice from to help you with your knowledge and respect?
Absolutely. I mean, Chris Michaels is still one that I talk to this day. I mean, it's been a few weeks since I've seen him, since we were on a show together, but Chris is one. At one point, it's so weird to say, but 10 years ago, it feels like it was just yesterday, I was thankful to, work with Rob Conway and still get to talk to him every now and then, and just getting nutritional advice and things outside of wrestling even, or he's telling me stories about, when he was working guys like Eddie Guerrero or Chris Benoit and the things they taught him. And, I know one of those people may not be somebody that's cool to talk about now, but just hearing the things that he passed on in the ring is a cool thing, because he was somebody that I liked up until a certain point, then things got harder to watch. But, guys like him, Chase Stevens, even, I mean, he's still around, and riding the roads with him at one point, him and Chris together, we were going back and forth to Memphis, and, I was leaving work, picking them up, and then getting home at like 3 or 4 in the morning and going into work the next day. And that was fun. But you learn a lot of stuff in that time too, because they tell you about when they broke in, or riding the road with Tracy Smothers and the things they did. And you learn not just like basic wrestling psychology, but you learn like human psychology and different things that you see that made this person who they were, and how they bring that to their ring presence as well. But I mean, like, Chris Michaels is definitely one. There was a guy named Richard Lowe that I rode with. Chase Stevens, Rob Conway, just getting to have those kind of communications. It was, I was very fortunate. And then, of course, seminars like Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, Dory Funk Jr., Dutch Mantell, even though he liked to pretend he didn't remember me 3 hours after the fact, but trying to con me into going to another seminar after we just finished one and I was thanking him for it. But, it's like you learn so much from these people. And like even Pat Tanaka, he was the first real like big name that I did a seminar with, and then they needed somebody to work with him that night. So inadvertently, he just said, "Hey, that kid did my seminar. Let's try him out." And getting to work with him, getting told, "Don't you chop me back." And then, getting to cut a promo before the match. That was the first time anybody in this area had ever heard me cut a promo. And it shocked a lot of people. So, I mean, like, just getting to sit under that learning tree for 8 hours that day, work a match with him, and then getting that opportunity to have the microphone somewhere in between, man, it was absolutely insane for that time. And Mr. Simmons, I will be getting with you after this show is over.
There you go.
Business goes quick.
Business handles quick, right?
Oh, man.
Man, Rob Conway.
Oh, yeah.
So vastly underappreciated in wrestling. So. Rob Conway was amazing.
I'll be honest. I was a huge fan when he became like the NWA World's Champion, because for that iteration of the NWA, he brought a lot of eyes and credibility to it. And I don't think that people expected somebody like him, just based off how he was used in WWE, to be somebody that would carry on that level. But I mean, man, he went, like to New Japan. He went to all these places and made that title something that people were talking about. And he doesn't get enough credit for that.
I cannot shake my head enough.
I mean, he's still one of the nicest guys I could ever have been fortunate enough to be around. And I'm telling you too, when I found out that he had requested to work a program with me, I almost crap myself basically. But like I got nutrition advice from him. I started upping my time in the gym. I was there for 3 hours a day at that point, because I didn't want to show up and disappoint, and I also didn't want to show up and look out of shape. I'm not the most like cut up person, but I didn't want to look like I didn't belong in there with him.
That's a pimp move. I really actually do love Rob Conway. Him and Rene Dupree were a freaking amazing tag team. Like,
they were
great tag team.
And the way he was brought in too was even better. Like just the undercover military or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was great.
French sympathizer. It was just, you couldn't have asked for anything better than that.
So through all this involvement in professional wrestling now, and working your way up at the height of your career right now, you also are in the Nashville American Immersion Theater.
Yes.
And also do voice acting. And we brought it up earlier. Happy wife, happy life, right?
Right.
How do you balance all of that, my friend?
I'm not going to lie. I drop the plate sometimes. Because we also have kids. Baseball practice starts this week. School just started back.
Oh my gosh.
And then, it's just, I really don't know. And there was a point too where I was even like working as a haunted house scare actor. And there was a time that I worked like 70 days straight, but I was using as an escape because our dog was sick at the time. We needed money for the medical bills and everything. And I was just at my wit's end, but I got to go and escape there. And that streak, like by the time I took the day off after it was over, and I just crashed. But it's all an escape. It's all for fun. I love to perform, and I'm probably my own worst critic, but I just love getting the chance to go out and interact with these people and come out of my shell, because I'm not really the most outgoing person, if I'm in a social setting, unless somebody comes and talks to me. But, once you get to know me and once we start going back and forth, I'll probably have you laughing, or I'll probably have you, or you'll have me laughing or something. And we just go back and forth about things that we end up having a similarity of loving. But I mean, like just with the immersion theater, for example, I've been doing that for a year now, and it came from working with somebody at the haunted house. But I feel like I've known these people and acted with them for many years at this point because it clicks like that. And I don't know if that goes back to my improv experience that, again, was like a silver lining of COVID because I'm getting to work with people across the world and just doing it through Zoom. I don't know, but I mean, it's something that gives me an escape from all this. And as long as I give her the heads up and we don't have any family stuff going on, then it's cool. And then the voiceover stuff, it's probably late at night. Like I'm going to do some stuff after this because the kids are asleep, the house is quiet, and it'll sound like I have a professional studio, but it's all just managing the time, which I still do poorly, but it's a labor of love more than anything else. And thank you. I love you.
Hey, see, you're doing like wrestling and voice acting have been actually my two passions. Like I wanted to be a voice actor so bad at one time, and then where I live, there's nothing like around here for any of that, like to even try to progress. But dude,
where do you live? Anywhere near one of the major hubs like Chicago, Dallas, anywhere like that?
I'm right in the middle between St. Louis and Chicago in Quincy, Illinois, 3 hours to St. Louis roughly, and 4.5 hours to Chicago.
Right. So, I mean, you're relatively close to like one of the big hubs, but the thing that sucks now is like, even though people have had the opportunity to, like get these home studios built where they can do things through Zoom, Source Connect or whatever, they want people to start coming back to studio. Now with the actor strike going on, that's all kind of at a standstill at the moment. But I mean, like a lot of stuff that was coming in during the pandemic, I worked for a company called Okratron, which was kind of like a subsidiary company for Funimation and Crunchyroll. But during that time, they ended up moving back to people being local. So I ended up losing out on that, even though I have a home studio. So it's frustrating not being in one of these major places, but I've seen people move to these major places, it not pan out, and then they're just kind of SOL. So it's one of those things. I just look at it as I'm not moving my family. That'd be too selfish of me to do that, but I'm just going to keep trying. And if they like what I've got, then we'll make it work that way. But it's literally a crapshoot, just like wrestling. There's so many people involved that I just have to look at it, and it's a struggle even just to say I'm getting auditions. So I'm clearly doing something right. Even if I'm not booking the auditions, I've got X amount of other people that I don't even know about auditioning against me. And just because my read didn't get it doesn't mean it wasn't bad, or doesn't mean it was bad. Just I wasn't what they were looking for. So it's a mind game, basically. Just test of faith, test of your mind, and just saying, hey, I'm good enough. It's just a matter of them hearing what they want in my voice, if that makes sense. But not being near one of the major hubs has slowed down some things, but it's still fun to do. I mean, like my agent still sends me stuff, so it can't be that bad. But at the same time too, I wish there was more coming in because I love doing it, even though there's no crowd in front of me.
Well, I think it's cool because you brought up improv already that you've done and we're doing. I don't know if you still are on that.
Oh yeah.
But having that, the wrestling world and the voice acting, you have to be a stick. I did not get to do all my research on you. I will say it right now. So I did a little bit and enjoyed some of your matches and stuff, but I didn't get to get into like your promo work and whatnot.
Oh boy, that's the good stuff.
And see, I'm thinking that now. Like I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get off of here now and look you back up and look for mic work because I'm a big fan of this, the verbal confrontation that you can have with somebody in the ring. That's why I'm a big fan of Jey Uso right now in the main roster.
God,
because of how like I never saw him as a mic guy.
No, I don't think anybody did.
And he was such a good wrestler that I just had him in that good wrestler category.
Yep.
And now because Roman and him have gone back and forth, and like it to me, I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't care what anyone says. I'm gonna keep promoting the crap out of him because I've been a fan of him since he debuted on the main roster. But now that his mic game is right there almost with his in-ring game, like, dude, the dude's unstoppable. So like just talking to you makes me want to listen to your promo work even more.
Thank you. I will say, like, I hate it because sometimes I can go long because like I get into it that much. But unless I've got somebody directing me for a time cue, then most of them are going to be like 2 minutes or more. But I mean, with Jay, for example, though, he's to the point, especially with his mic game and his acting skills now, that people were putting him as like the top 1 or 1A of active wrestlers or whatever they're going with now, if he left or whatever, you know. But they're putting him at the top of the roster for all 3 brands. And that's saying something because nobody expected that. They always saw him as a tag team guy. But the promo work is always what has really brought me into it because I may not do everything crisp and clean physically, or I can't do a triple moonsault or whatever, but I can sure, you know, talk you into the seats. I can make you hate me, or I can make you believe that I hate you. You know, like there's a lot of stuff. Like I've pushed lines to the point that people in the back have sent me messages thinking that I was believing everything I was saying out there. Like it offended them to that point. So it's
nice.
I take it like I hate it that it comes to that because I have to say, like, look, I really respect you, and I would never say that. If I had a problem, we would talk face to face. But I love that at the same time, like, okay, if I can get you to believe it, then I'm definitely doing something right. If you've been around this long and you believe what I'm doing, then yeah, okay, cool. Let's run with it.
Nice.
I love it because I know like this has helped my mic game.
Oh, yeah. It really has. It really does.
Ruby bringing me into this kind of world has really improved me, and I just want to be a commentator. I want to be a commentator and a booker. That's all I want to be in this business. I will say it straightforward if I have to get physical eventually, and I can. That's cool. I would love to go through a table. That is on my bucket list. So just because I think it'd be fun and interesting. It's going to hurt. But like just to have that experience, I think it would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I've always loved how in commentating and stuff, how they give you what's going on in the ring and it amplifies what's going on in the ring. So
absolutely. It's a story. It's storytelling.
Yeah. So this has been great in listening, guys like you.
Thank you.
Who did we have last time? Brick, right?
Yeah, Brick Savage.
Brick Savage. That dude's an awesome cat. Loved him. So you guys have been cool, man. Thanks.
Thank you. And that's we kind of share a similar goal too, because I mean, don't get me wrong. If some company offered me a contract to go on TV as an in-ring talent, absolutely, I would do it. But I think my main goal would also be with booking and then being an on-screen manager because not everybody can talk. I would gladly talk. I would take a bump every once in a while if need be, if it fit the story or where we were going. But I would rather be a Bobby Heenan or a Paul Heyman or whoever you want to say in that regard, because I'd rather save the bump card. I'd rather feel good physically, you know?
One day I'll have the Zmiz squad. That's my goal. The Zmiz squad, and have my own fleet of crew to do my business. Like that is 100%. I want a Heenan house. I want a Paulie dangerously dangerous alliance. Like I want to be one of those guys. Those are my heroes.
Absolutely. They're so underappreciated even to this day. Like people are just now figuring out how good Bobby Heenan was. And, you know, I think it took a lot of people hearing what Paul Heyman said on ESPN to actually go up and look who he was. And that blows my mind that like people today still don't know who he was and how great he was.
How much gold was that segment?
Oh, it was amazing because I mean, I'll have to be completely honest. Like I missed it the first couple of times I listened about the whole Jimmy Hart part. I missed that. Like God still hasn't answered my prayers about Jimmy Hart. But Bobby Heenan, like, screw him. He's dead. You know, like that's just straight up what he would say. He's a slimy human being. That's exactly what he would say.
So Jimmy and Bobby are probably two of my favorite. I mean, there's a reason I'm called the Gym City Mouth. There's a reason. It's because of my love for Jimmy Hart, the mouth of the South. So, but to have Paul say that, dude, I always thought he was top 3, but I almost he's squeezing the other two out very quickly in my mind. Like he's
and he's doing it in an age where social media is so prevalent, so it's not only easier to go viral, but at the same time, referencing the post-match conference they did at WrestleMania, people's attention spans these days are so short because of social media, because of technology and everything. So the fact that he's had the longevity that he's had in his career and gone so much longer than both of those guys even did and held people's attention to this day, I mean, like that says a lot right there about how good he actually is.
And you're right, Herb, like always.
Yes, very. And that's one of my pet peeves is because I'll take it back a little bit. About 10 years ago, I did a seminar with Dr. Tom, and
ooh, nice.
You know, he was asking questions, just random wrestling trivia questions, like who was the first United States champion? I raised my hand and said Harley Race. He asked another question. I forget what it was, but I raised my hand and answered. Nobody else answered. And he asked, well, why do you know all this stuff? Why do you think it's important to know all this stuff? And I was honest with him. I said, because I think it's important to know the history of what I love doing and what I'm a part of, because I don't want to disrespect somebody that I look up to that I might eventually meet one day. And at the same time, too, I don't want to do a disservice to something that they sacrifice their bodies for, you know. But I mean, some people don't look at it that way. Some people look at it for fun. That's totally cool. But I think it's important to have an understanding of what you're doing and who came before you and why they were so good, because chances are they influenced the person that you love, you know?
God, they need to keep getting us guys like this. Ruby, we need to keep finding guys like this, because I agree 100%. Like, I'm one of those people, and I don't care how you got in the business or how you're here. If you enjoy it or don't enjoy it and you're just here for the paycheck, that's fine. I'm not going to say that. But I believe 110% that you should be a fan of this business.
Absolutely.
Before entering this business. Now, if you do enter this business not being a fan, because there's people that have come in that way that weren't fans and everything else. But if you don't become a fan of this business, then why are you still here?
Exactly.
Like, you should be a fan of what you do. This could be a hobby. This could be for money. This could be for all of it. But if you're not a fan still and you can't find enjoyment in something that your brothers and your sisters are doing in the locker room or somebody else is doing in another locker room, there's no reason for you to be there.
Exactly. And you don't have to be a fan of everything. You don't have to like every single thing that's going on out there. Like, there's a lot of stuff I'm not a fan of.
Right.
But at the same time, there is stuff that I love. There's stuff that my son loves. You know, and like there's something for everybody. It's a literal buffet. So if you really can't find something that you like, then, you know, I hate to say it, but there's the door, because all you're doing is bringing the energy down around the people that you work with that do love it, you know. And I'm not saying that in any kind of rude way, but that's not just wrestling. That's life in general.
Right. One of my frustrations is being in the back, like trying to talk wrestling, and they're like, well, I don't watch wrestling. I just come do my matches. I'm like,
right.
How are you learning then? Like, how are you evolving? Like,
I think Herb just hit the nail on the head. If you don't know where it began and how it started, you have no clue where you're going.
Amen.
But I mean, on top of that too, I'll be honest, I don't limit what I study and what I watch down to just professional wrestling, because you can find different character work in like shows you watch. Like, I'm rewatching Dexter right now. Like, if that was my character, there's a lot of stuff you could pull from that character wise, or, you know, you might see a self-defense move that you might learn to work. Like, there's so many different facets that you can study
Hall
from.
Giving Sting the piece of how to become Sting.
Yep.
Again. Like, come on, people.
it's all entertainment. It's all like broadening your horizons. It's people watching. I think William Regal said he got so much of his selling and his facials from people watching. Like, he just saw people in the airport making the strangest faces, and he would imitate those as he was selling, or if he was in a comic shop. You know, it's awesome. It's literal. Just study what's around you and study wrestling.
And that's why I'm a fan of Rhea Ripley, because of how her mannerisms as not only a professional wrestler in the ring, but her stuff that she's doing with Dom and the other guys,
right?
As a manager standpoint, and being like the facial features, the stuff on the outside, like, you know for a fact she's sitting under Paul's learning tree. And I mean, tell me she's not.
That's the stuff that my son loves too, because I just remember Thanksgiving this past year, we were getting ready. I was actually the first time I was ever able to take him to a show. We were flying up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin for a show up at Legacy Pro that my friend Xavier Mustafa runs. And we were just sitting in the airport waiting to board. And I look up and see this video of Dominic and Rhea going to Ray's house and, you know, just tearing everything apart at Thanksgiving. And he saw it and he's like, who's that? You know, he just got into it that way. And I'm sitting here laughing because he said he did it because the Christmas tree was up too early. You know, it's simple stuff like that, but that's how my son started loving the Judgment Day. Like, it's simple stuff like that.
Well, you had 3 of my favorites in it from the start, and then to add Dom at the end and see him develop into the guy that he's becoming, I
absolutely
cannot brag about them enough. But
yeah, and I mean, it's so funny too, because when I was at SummerSlam, I'm not going to pull it too far behind the curtain, but SummerSlam last year, you know, like I ran into him outside of the locker room and we talked for a minute while they were doing a Miz pre-tape, and he was the nicest guy he could be. So to see him like go from that and kind of like getting the corny babyface boos at the time to being a full-fledged heel to the point that he can't even get a word out on the microphone when he brings it to his face, like that's talent. And that's not because of who his dad is. That's because of the work that he's put in and the dedication to the character that he's doing. Like it's all him, because Ray's not there holding his hand anymore.
You ain't gonna hear me complain, dude. Like
right? I love it.
I crapped on him. I crapped on him right on this show once about something that he did, and he has made me put my foot in my mouth multiple times. I cannot get enough of him. And Christian Cage, Christian, will always go down as one of my favorite scuzzy baby, crybaby heels, right? He's that guy that just got under your skin that you're like, you just need to smack you. Smack that. Your mama should have smacked you harder. Dom has like legitimately passed Christian, in my opinion, as the best crybaby, little whiny, scuzzy, and I just love everything about it.
But I have to say too, the thing Christian did recently, getting his own daughter escorted out, trying to hold the championship. That's what won it for me. Like, that is genius. It is absolutely genius.
Nigel, this week on Collision, Nigel says on commentary, he's like, "And Dad of the Year coming out."
So good. Like, it's just smarmy heel stuff, man. And it doesn't get enough credit. Like, there's too many guys want to be cool and get the clicks on social media. Like, I don't get it. Like, if I'm gonna do it, I want to be hated. I want to be absolutely hated, so that I'm having to cover my ears when that other guy comes out. And so far, it's worked, because all these other guys, you know, they know them. They're their friends. They come to see them perform. They don't know me. They absolutely hate me. So I mean, it's like, I love stuff like that.
Man, yeah, I know that's. No, that had me, go see your mother or whatever.
She doesn't have papers. Christian is, and to think Christian in 2023 is being one of the best pieces to any wrestling puzzle.
It really is. And I'm so glad that he got that second chapter again after all the concussion issues, him and Edge both. But like, it's so cool to see what they're doing now and see like what he's done since he's come back. So he's always been one of my underrated favorites. He never got his just due.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. And who knows, maybe down the road, maybe Christian maybe might get another chapter behind the scenes in WWE.
Oh, I hope.
I'm praying for a season 3 of the Edge and Christian show. That's
same here.
I mean, all this run is doing is back to what you and I were just talking about, being the manager. Christian could legitimately go in and help any of these younger guys like he's doing with Luchasaurus and be a manager, somebody we talk about. He could stay in the business for another 10, 20 years.
Absolutely.
Just being this character.
And he still looks young. Like, he's taken such great care of himself that he looks like he hasn't aged a bit. I mean, you could even say the same about Dustin Rhodes. Like, Dustin moves better than half the younger guys on that roster.
God, yes.
And I wish he would have gotten a title run somewhere in there, but it is what it is. But he's had a hell of a career, and he's like, he came out of it on the other side looking so much better, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we can go in the guys in the 50s that look like a gem. I mean, like I mentioned, Mark Truth earlier.
Billy Gunn.
Yeah, Billy Gunn, which kind of wish he didn't take off his boots, mow the ring, because we all know what that signifies. But I mean, which is, I can understand to a point. I mean, it's like,
let it play out. It's a story right now.
Exactly.
Like, it's a story. Don't give it to. I know you're not an AEW fan, but give it a little time, because the Acclaim. Everybody loves the Acclaim, and everybody loves Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
So.
No, wait a minute. Take that back.
Okay.
I do not like the Acclaimed. I just don't like them. I
What?
just don't like them.
What do you have against
What? No.
All right, hold on. Time out. Have you not been? I'm sorry. When I told you this, were you like hiding somewhere, or were you like in a different?
I don't remember you saying this.
I told you.
I don't. You probably did, but I don't remember. I don't remember, man. God, sorry.
Oh my God, no. God, this.
Yeah.
Scissor meat. Good Lord.
Scissor me, daddy.
Keep that in the locker room. I don't want to know about people scissoring out in public. Good Lord.
But to answer your question, Tyler, no, we have not. Not yet, anyway.
Oh my God. Tyler's fired.
Oh,
Tyler's fired.
Do we want to tell them about my very first matches as parting, like as a severance package, or how do you guys want to do that?
It's a severance. Tyler's not the booker for SICW, by the way. but
He thinks he is.
But I mean, everybody's got a wish list. Everybody's got a wish list.
That's true.
Everybody does. But among your promotions that you worked for, throughout the many states and the titles that you've acquired, of course, that television title is very nice. It's a very feather in the cap, knowing what the AIWF will represent.
Absolutely.
One of the other things that you kind of mentioned here is your involvement. You said the USWO, which I'm assuming it's United States Wrestling Organization.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So, kind of tell us in your footnotes in the story that this was kind of one of your highlights and how you became their final heavyweight champion.
Right. And I guess that's been redacted now because they did come back with some different people involved, and they did crown a new champion, Damian Wayne, who I think, as we're recording this, actually just announced his retirement today, which I hate because I never actually got to work with him outside of a tag match where we were tagging together. So I never actually got to work him. But when they closed doors in 2014, I was the last champion at the time. So, I mean, I guess technically, if you want to call it in those terms, I held the title longer than Roman Reigns has done right now, but I'm not on TV. So there you go. But that was one of those things that I honestly never thought would happen, but it got to a point where I was just, what I was doing in other promotions got Tony and LT's attention, and they brought me back. And it got to the point where I was just cooking. Like, I was on all cylinders, getting heat everywhere. And at one point having some of the best matches of the night, which I'm my own worst critic, so that's weird to say. But, it kind of forced their hand, like, okay, back when we first started and this guy was 140, 150 pounds, we told him he'd never be anything more than an enhancement talent or he'd never be champion. But here we go. So, like, that was kind of a big deal for me because, everybody's got mixed emotions on winning championships and different things like that. But it was a goal of mine to prove them wrong and get that championship. And then for the longest time to also say I was the last one was a big feather in my cap, because it was just something that really wasn't supposed to happen. But circumstance and hard work, I guess, forced the hand of what was originally planned, and it didn't work. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they brought it back. I mean, you could just say that's from like a different era. I mean, think of promotions that had either been defunct, sold out, or bought out, or whatever, came back.
Absolutely.
Biggest example, ECW.
Yep.
I mean, there's definitely a different era, the WWE era of ECW, and then the original ECW, which, of course, every day, any day I'll go back to original ECW. That's just me. But I mean,
except when Mark Henry came in with the Hall of Pain.
What?
Except when Mark Henry came in with the Hall of Pain. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, with the Hall. Well, I mean,
that was the push he should have had a long time ago, but that was probably the best part of those shows for a while. I'll go ahead and say that too, because that was probably the main thing I was watching ECW for at that time, was what Mark Henry was doing. Wasn't an ECW guy, but I'll be damned if it wasn't entertaining. And Tony Atlas laughing too. So
no.
Oh God. Good Lord.
If only they had a woman punching him or stomping him on TV, but I won't go there.
Yeah, Tony, I think he did that with God, I forgot the guy's first name, but I know his last name was Washington.
Abraham, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Abraham
the one that made
Washington,
the
when he had that show. Now that was fun.
That's a dude Abraham Washington is so good.
Yeah.
That was funny. I mean, those segments were funny. I'll tell you that right now.
Such good stuff.
That was some of the funniest stuff that ECW had in that era.
Well, yeah, the WWE version.
Yes, absolutely. But man, we're bringing up a whole bunch of great stuff here tonight, guys. What I want to do here real quick here is I'm going to do this at the end of the here in a little while here too, but no, not that, dummy. Yeah, forget our show. We're still trying to get that worked out. Here's what I want to get to kind of feature our guest here tonight. It'll also come a little bit later. This is the QR code for our guest here tonight with Hollywood Flynn Hendrix. All of his links. I mean, we're talking his pro wrestling tee shop. We're talking his Instagram. We're talking, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm sure you got them all lined up. If you want to read them off, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's got all my social media. It's got my website. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop for merchandise, all the voice acting endeavors, wrestling, pretty much everything you need to know about me. If you want to hear my demos, those are on there too. But it's got social media. It's got my podcast, I Know You Hear Me, which I'm wearing the shirt now. And if you want to get a shirt like this, go check out either Pro Wrestling Tees or my website. And 10% of every sale that I make does benefit, different charities like Nashville Humane Association or St. Jude. So not only does it help me pay the bills and create, continue my creative endeavors, but it also goes to two causes that I'm very, very close to as well. But I'd also love to get connected. I'd love to grow the fan base, get to know everybody. And, if you want to be entertained on a car ride, go listen to my podcast. It's all right there.
There you go. And it's kind of cool though, because I saw actually Zmiz actually scanning that QR code, and I actually got a tally on the screen saying that you did it or someone did it.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're winning right now with one. So
hey, I'll take it.
Wink, wink, you guys.
Right. It's a lot of great stuff on here. A lot of great
Absolutely.
stuff. So, and that's great for giving the charitable causes,
sure.
like Humane Society and the St. Jude. So I love kids and I love dogs.
Absolutely,
So,
I'm a huge on both. I'm fortunate enough to have two healthy kids, but I can't even imagine what a lot of those parents go through. Like all jokes aside, so like if any way I can help, like the push-up contests or the donations they do that way, I've done that. I'll do the monthly donations, but it's just that and the animals, man. Like they don't have somebody that can speak up for them. So any way that I can help them, because I'm a huge dog guy. I love pit bulls, and they probably have the worst reputation. And I will do anything. Like I can't have one right now due to an incident with one of my kids, but the second he's older and he understands to respect animals better, trust me, I would bring home every single one I could fit in this house if I could. But it's all just to make sure that they're taken care of more than anything else. Because
I have a pit bull lab that gets beat up by 4 kids every day, and he is the best dog you ever like. He just lays there. He's our big cat, actually, because I'm a cat guy.
We've got cats now, and our youngest cat pretty much acts like a dog at this point. He follows me everywhere. If I'm getting food, he's begging for food, and then he's right there next to me in bed. So I mean, it fills the gap to an extent, but it just purrs. So
I lost my cat that was like that in 2020. Unfortunately, we had to bury him. But Renji was the coolest cat, and yes, it was from Bleach. That's how we got his name.
I love it.
But Renji was like, dude, this cat was the vet themselves were like, are you sure this is a cat? Like this cat, like I had him playing fetch. That cat would beg for food. That cat would sit on my dude was a pimp.
Man,
now we have Bandit. We have our pit bull lab, and he's the laziest dog I have met.
That sounds exactly like my first pit bull, and I had him I wish I would have had him his entire life, but I rescued him from Death Row Dogs, and I had him up until March of last year. We had to, put him down, unfortunately, due to a tumor he developed. But man, he would do anything. When I first got him, like if I had a beer in my hand or whatever. Matter of fact, the first time he ran in the door, he knocked a beer out of my hand and just started drinking it off the floor. Like he was the ultimate party dog, but he was just so lazy, and he thought he was a lap dog. You know, it's the sweetest dog you would ever meet.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Well, I got a good child, and then I have 3 dogs. So I mean that's
right.
That's, and I can't determine which one gives me the bigger headache at times. But
I can imagine.
But either way, we're going to go ahead and kind of take a pause here. We didn't do this last week, but we are going to do it this week, everybody. And of course, we always do this with our guests, and it's something we love to enjoy and get a little. It's not like we've gotten chuckles already out of this podcast, but we're going to get some more. So here we go with this. Oh yeah. Tonight it is Wrestling's Gold Memes here, and
I dropped my phone.
We're actually just going to get right into it here. I didn't have a product lined up that any wrestler was endorsing here, so we'll just let that go to the wayside. But
you're fired.
Yeah. So here we go with our first meme here. You ever get those annoying like out of the blue Facebook messages, like people you don't know, you know, like Hell in a Cell. Does the guy still remember when the Undertaker threw Mankind off you?
I just want to see the response to that.
Yeah, I think this user blocked Helena, so we didn't get any
missed opportunity.
Yeah, missed opportunity.
Just like when Shawn Michaels sweet chinned Shelton Benjamin. Goodbye.
Oh man. Oh my gosh! I'm surprised that dude still had a neck after that. Holy crap!
One of the best sweet chins ever.
Yep.
How about this? How about or would you rather? You know, you can either take you can take chops from Gunther, or you can take a stink face after Rikishi spent the day at Chipotle. So,
oh, that's a
chop.
I don't know. I've been chopped by some good people in this business. Colt Cabana had to be the worst so far that I've been chopped by.
I don't know. I don't know if you can show it on here or not, or pull it up right now, but I have a short on my YouTube channel of me chopping a guy at a convention I was a guest at earlier this year that was pretty much up there at Gunther level. So I don't know if you could pull that up or not, but it hit like 5,000 views in 2 hours. So
dang.
Oh my goodness. I may have to try to get to it here in a little bit. I'm going to try to. I'm going to really try. And if I can get it up here, I will.
I don't want to meet Rikishi's brown eyes, so I'm going chop too, I think.
Yeah.
You're Thanks for that colorful description of your choice. Thank you. No, I'll take Sue over gag any day.
Yeah. Look, Paul's going in for the breath.
He might be doing the alien thing, just getting ready to put his little mouth in.
Sometimes you can't prepare for an elevator, but you can for that. So
I wonder if it's like that's a recurring. That has to be a recurring smell afterwards too. Like it doesn't just go away.
Yeah. Speaking of things not going away, I think probably our better jokes here. But the face, you're talking about facial expressions earlier. How about a little water to splash his back when you're sitting on a public toilet?
Oh, a little Poseidon kiss.
The Poseidon kiss, right?
Elizabeth, what was that?
We don't know nobody.
A snip too hard.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's great.
Woo. Oh my god, that face there, boy. Oh,
that's a keeper.
Oh yeah, that is.
That should be a family photo.
Oh. But we are going to get to a little bit more cleaner humor for once. For our next meme here, we're going to review Shawn Michaels' greatest rivalries.
Oh boy!
Wait, what?
There you go. There's a chime for you. So how how about one we're going to talk about here? What about Bret Hart? Bret Hart, of course, one of the great rivalries back in WrestleMania 12. They got soured at the Survivor Series with the screw job, comeback hugging. What a storied rivalry.
Oh yeah.
And then, hey, what about the Undertaker?
That's my favorite. If I had to pick out of those two, that's my favorite.
Him and Rick.
Yeah, the two WrestleMania matches, and we're not going to mention about the one where Shawn came out of retirement with Triple H to face the Brothers of Destruction in Saudi Arabia, which is
no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it never happened.
Yeah, never happened. Gotcha.
I've actually never seen that whole card because that match is on the card. Because I'm not so
favor.
Huh?
You're doing yourself a favor.
And let's talk about the rivalry that no one seems to really get, and those really behind the scenes. How about this? Probably one tops it off.
Oh,
everybody,
boy.
The personal computer.
Do you remember when Shawn was working at the cafeteria thing?
Yes.
Him and Triple H. I just watched that whole promo, that video again.
God, it was so good.
You gotta wear a hairnet. They're against that.
Yelling at the kid.
So good. See, that's where I like Shawn. I'm not a Shawn guy. So Shawn's never been one of my I'm gonna go watch a Shawn Michaels match. I've never been mad to watch him, but it wasn't going out of my way. But his comedy with him and Triple H, because I'm a Triple H guy now.
Yeah.
Those two, man, big gags. I love everything about those two when they're together.
It's just you can tell again. It's the authenticity of it. That's what they do behind the scenes. It's just you can tell that it's real friendship.
Absolutely.
Agree.
Speaking of friendship, what about the one on the bottom right?
Brian James.
I was gonna say, look at
Brian. That's total gold right there.
I would love to see him come back as just the cool dad, trying to be cool. I'm all for him giving that character a thing.
And our last one, we're actually going to focus a little on AEW, and I'm just going to sit back and let you guys observe this one. So,
I saw this today. Oh God. I love that they actually used a normal looking Tony face for this one, though, not one of the extreme angry ones.
The ones that he's bugged out always bother me. He's just
yes.
But hey, okay. In all seriousness, I'm okay with what Punk's doing. It just feels reused too soon.
Yeah.
But Jungle Boy, I'm getting down with this character, so I'm pretty happy with his development right now.
Right, and it's a slow burn because a lot of people were complaining about it at the beginning, but it's picking up steam as it goes.
100%. But I'm also a big fan of Hook because I was a big fan of Taz as a kid. So
oh man, that's all you got to say. The suplexes,
100%. So I'm okay with it right now. Let's give Jungle Boy some time. But no, this is hilarious.
I'm just yay, Imagination Champions.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
So that's all we got for this week for Wrestling's Gold Memes, everybody. And,
that was good.
Good stuff, Ruby.
If you didn't laugh at those, then maybe I'm either a bad joke teller or maybe you need to get your funny bone examined. But that's not for me to say. But I think Z, I think we are actually back at you now, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
So after we coming off a nice, funny time, you've gotten your chance to actually step into one of these main promotions that we've been talking about and behind the scenes and do some spots with them. Can you give us some insight in that and how that all came about and what you kind of did in your involvement during the time that you spent in WWE?
Yeah, so a lot of it was blind luck more than anything. the first time back in 2014 was like the week after the Ultimate Warrior passed away, and I'd gotten the connection through Burt Prentice because I was kind of like the guy that he would bring in to work with the guys he was making the stars of the show. So I would be the guy that would work with them and put them over and all that. And he got me that first extra spot. And you know, for some reason I was hopeful that I'd get to go back, but it never panned out. But the biggest thing I remember about that was everybody was just on eggshells. Like everybody was just so timid. And when I first showed up, they told me go to talent relations. Mark Carano was in there. He was talking to Alicia Fox, and I'm standing outside the door. He says, "Come in." I go in. He goes, "Did you knock?" I said, "No, you told me to come in." "Well, you should knock first." So that's, you know, kind of the extent of that right there. But when I went back at SummerSlam, it was a completely different experience. Like everybody was just laid back, having fun, no stress. Like they were making all these jokes in the producer's room where the extras were changing and everything. And like, there was no separation of extra talent and main stage talent, you know, in the catering area this go round. Like I knew Byron Saxton from doing some haunted house work. He'd come through and we'd talked back then, ended up sitting with him and Bobby Lashley, and he's given us advice about everything. And it was surreal because it wasn't what I was expecting after remembering the last time, but the whole ordeal with being security at that SummerSlam for Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle was just like, the biggest guy in the back is driving us in a golf cart out to get in our spots. And like, they're literally parting the crowd to get the golf cart through to get us where we need to be. And I'm more worried about make sure you get the cue, make sure you get your cue, yada, 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 and don't get in the way of the camera. And then I end up front and center for all of it. Like I'm just in the middle, like trying to get Seth Rollins out. I'm yelling at Matt Riddle from ringside. And it's like an out of body experience. Like I'm watching myself do it in front of 49,000 people. Like it's absolutely insane that I wasn't even like nervous at that time. And it didn't hit me until I walked back through Gorilla and there's Undertaker just sitting watching the monitor. Like what just happened? You know, and it's like, here comes Seth Rollins in his orange pastel suit. Like, okay, cool. That was it. You know, like it was just so surreal. And then I messaged my connection at the time and said, "Hey, I noticed that these shows were coming up and I wanted to thank you, you know, for the opportunity tonight." And he said, "Hey, as long as your blood work is good to go, you show up." So that would have been Indianapolis and Louisville in November last year. And I'll be damned if getting to Indianapolis wasn't the road trip from hell, because me and another guy rode up and we left my house at 8:30 Central Time, which would have given us plenty of time to get up there. Not by 9 o'clock, we hit the state line of Kentucky. The interstate's closed down because it flooded. So we sit there for an hour. We get past that finally. We get to Louisville. Interstate shut down all the way through Louisville, so you got to take side streets to get back on. We ended up being 3 hours late to SmackDown, and I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, like, they're just going to tell us turn around and go home. Thankfully, they were cool as could be about all that. So, you know, it was pretty much just getting to go up there, hang out, see some people, and catch up with people that you knew and eat a bunch of catering, because that was probably the best part of it. But then, you know, Eric Bischoff without getting shown the door. But then Monday rolls around and we leave again, and smoothest drive up you could ever ask for. We get there, and there's some guys from OVW. There's a couple female talents there as well. And of all things, me and the guy I rode up with, we walk in with JBL of all people. And automatically I'm like, okay, I've heard horror stories about this guy. But as soon as we ask, like, is this the way that we go in? He goes, well, shit, I hope so, because if y'all are following me, y'all are shit out of luck. And then,
that sounded just like JBL.
And he just starts telling us stories about like how him and Barry Windham used to ride together. And when they were backstage, they would change the arrows around for where everything was backstage and just watch the boys get lost. So he was like the complete opposite of everything that you'd heard about him, at least for that day. And then, you know, we're sitting back there in catering, and one of the producers comes by and says, we're going to do a segment tonight. We need 2 people to be poker players. And they picked, I guess, the 2 most normal looking people, which would have been me and the guy I rode up with, because I'm sitting there in a red and white checkered button down, a vest, and a cabbie hat, so I look like I should be in a casino, I guess. And they put us in there with Baron Corbin and JBL again, and they're sitting there making jokes the whole time, and we ended up doing that take like 3 times, just to get different angles or whatever, or because like different deliveries of saying like pair of twos, or JBL coming up with different insults or getting tongue tied and like talking about inbreds in Kentucky. But like, it was just an absolute surreal experience. And I don't know, like, it was more than I ever could have asked for. And then, getting to actually like stand out opposite of the Titantron into one of those little areas between the seats that goes backstage. We're standing out there watching it, and this little kid points down and goes, "Look, that's the guys from the screen. That's the guys from the screen." And, that happens. And then as you walk back in to, go get your bags to leave for the night, you just see Michael Hayes in a pink pastel suit walking down the hallway like he's just riding off into the sunset, rolling his bag with his fanny pack, and it's like you're seeing a unicorn for the last time. It was like the most surreal experience of anything that could have ever happened, but it was like so fun. That's the only way I can describe it. It was fun and surreal, but now I'm trying to go back, so it's just a matter of if and when, I guess.
Do you know what JBL stands for? Just beat a lizard. Still one of my favorite lines that JBL's ever spit. Man,
that I got to give that one, and then the one that he did on, I think it was the bump where he was talking about wearing the big baggy pants, and he's like, "I wear these baggy pants because I've got more ass than a donkey farm," or something like that.
Like, oh. I just so JBL is one of my favorites.
Yes.
And I grew up in that era of the Attitude Era and all this stuff, and then the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Right.
WCW a lot actually, WCW, but JBL is my Stan Hansen, as I told Herb a while back. But I showed my son some segments of JBL just recently and stuff, and we just watched the whole Eddie Guerrero storyline, and Chase is like, "Holy cow, this is awesome!" Like, yes, this was what professional wrestling should have always been. Like, it was. JBL's
and the fact too that like Eddie, I think he almost died because he hit an artery when he started bleeding. But like the fact that he took it upon himself to get that character over from being like a mid card or lower mid card tag team guy to a main event heel, like that's just absolutely astounding. Though, like how selfless he was to do that. And then again, the size difference, making it believable on top of that, man, it was just absolute gold.
I'll never forget JBL walking the border patrol.
Yes. Oh.
Like, I love everything Eddie, and I love everything JBL.
Yes.
My wife still calls him Diaper Man, though.
God almighty.
So,
wow.
That's cool, man. I hope to possibly one day be backstage and do something, but dude, it's cool to hear the stories of others that have made it. And I'm proud of you for doing it.
Thank you.
Keep being that way, and hopefully we'll see you up in one of those spots.
I'm trying. I mean, there's a bunch of guys I could pitch to work with that need me or don't need me, but I mean, there's stuff that could be entertaining there regardless. So if they ever come to me, I've got ideas. So
that's all you gotta have, right?
That's it.
It's always good to sponge off on another when it comes to gaining knowledge and
sure.
Coming up with new ideas and talk to those who've actually been there. Mm-hmm. So if you decide that you want to try to jump at that opportunity, then you've got some feedback on it. So
absolutely. And I mean,
always good stuff.
That's something that I'll always have, and I can always reference whether since it was a speaking part too, I can use that as part of an acting reel, or I can even just use it as part of the wrestling resume. So it kind of works in both worlds, but it's an experience I never honestly thought that I would get to have.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to have for sure. But sometimes we go to a lot of good. We experience a lot of good in the business, and sometimes we do have something that maybe sidelines us beyond our control. Like we do come to an unfortunate point, such as myself. I had to a lot of time this past summer where I've had to be sidelined. So what were some of your worst injuries you suffered? And at any point on any of those injuries, did you ever think about not returning to the ring?
I'll be completely honest. Pretty much throughout the first 7 years of my career before I got married, I pretty much worked through everything, and that's where the majority of any injuries happened. The only time I ever missed a show was because I was throwing up. That's the only thing that ever sidelined me was a stomach bug. But you know, I'd worked through fevers and gotten a nosebleed. I've worked through concussions. I actually got a concussion in a match working Cedric Alexander and a guy he was tagging with in Nashville right out of the lockup. Just took an elbow straight to the forehead. Had no clue where I was most of the match, and then took a double super kick. And I think I got another one out of that, but we still got through the match, and it was decent from what everybody told me. But, you know, I've broken a finger in a match and popped it back into place. I've broken a toe. The concussions are probably the worst thing that's ever happened. But I did have a match that involved blood. This was probably about 2009, 2010 or so. And the guy I was working did not properly tape his instrument down. So he went to do something to my leg. And I have a scar on the inside of my left thigh now because that got me. I didn't even realize it until we got to the back. I was wearing a white singlet because the blood would show better. So I thought it was just blood from everything else. Come to find out, I've got a wound open, like a mouth talking to me on the inside of my leg.
Oh.
And what do? I'm just like, I'm not going to the hospital. I'm just going to go get some liquid skin or some new skin and just spray it. And
how big was this wound?
Let's see. I'm not going to get grotesque here and show it. It's about 2 inches long. Yeah.
Jeez.
And then
that's a significant little F up.
Yeah. And then I was doing, needless to say, I haven't worked with that guy since, and I won't for obvious reasons, but, and this was supposed to be a veteran too, but I was doing an interview last year with a guy, he's a good friend of mine. He's an author and everything. And he's actually a voice actor too. And he goes, you do know there's something, you know, like called a femoral artery in your leg, right? I'm like, I didn't even think about that, but thank you for reminding me. I almost died, you know, thank you.
But yeah, that's a serious, like,
yeah. But it was,
I'm cringing.
Like the adrenaline was going in that to the point that I didn't even feel it because it was it was like the start of a big feud. And I just didn't want to disappoint. And I felt like I had to prove my keep. And then after the fact, I'm like, well, that was stupid. You know, like you just think about it on the way home because I don't put dress pants back on. I just put gym shorts and loafers on. And I'm like, I look like an idiot now. You know, that's all I'm thinking about. I look like an idiot with super glue on his leg. But that was probably the worst thing I ever had. And, you know, right before the pandemic happened, I got checked for CTE just to make sure I was okay. Thankfully, I'm good there. But, you know, I think the only thing that's ever required me to have any kind of surgery, even right after the pandemic, 3 months in, I had surgery on my left wrist and my left elbow because powerlifting in college, just ego lifting, stupid stuff, not sleeping enough, not giving my body enough rest, and then wrestling 3 to 5 times a week. I ended up like popping a nerve that I never got fixed, and it would bother me here and there, but it got to the point where I couldn't extend my left arm all the way. So I went and got that fixed, but that's really been it. I think the scar on the inside of my leg was probably the worst thing that ever happened.
Man, I just tell you, and I understand about the whole instrument deal too.
Yeah.
Something like that you have to be really careful of.
Absolutely.
What's involved. And trust me, in the state of Missouri, that there better not be no instruments on you, or else promoters and wrestlers get heavily fined or not possibly suspended with their license.
And at this point, I don't think it's, in today's day and age, I don't think it's even really needed if you can tell a story the right way. That's my opinion. But.
Yeah, like death matches, not needed. So
each their own on that one though, because I know some talented people that do them, but I would not do one myself. You couldn't pay me enough for that.
Okay, so I don't know if we want to get into this or not, but a death match is not professional wrestling, and I know it upset some vets on this, but it's not professional wrestling. Light tubes do not need to belong in the ring. A bed of barbed wire does not belong in the ring. Broken glass does not belong in the freaking ring. Okay, You can go outside in somebody's freaking concrete dock, and you can go and throw all that out there. You want to throw yourself on the concrete dock, fine, but keep that out of my ring, because there's no room for it in professional wrestling. That's just
right.
Me. If you want to hate me for it, hate me for it. I don't care. I'm not going to change I don't care. I don't care if you're my best friend and you like it. Live with it. Suck it up.
And that's the thing. We're all entitled to our own opinions, and I lean more towards your answer right there. But and if it's on a show, I'm not going in the ring after that, because I don't want to roll around in any of that, because God knows what could be there. But it's not for me. I'll go ahead and say that flat out. It's not for me, and I'd rather work a hardcore match or a street fight where you don't have weapons left and right. You fight outside the ring. You're in street clothes and boots or something. You make it look believable without using all the weapons and possibly seriously injuring somebody.
If you need something more grotesque than a regular hardcore match, or something even with even ECW done on a regular basis, holy cow. I mean, you could go through you can go through anybody's household closet to find anything to use as a weapon. To me, it's comedic, you smacking somebody with a vacuum cleaner or like a box fan. I mean, or even in my career, I even did whip out an old bowling ball and bowling in somebody's crotch. That's funny. Yeah. To me, I mean, I knew how to do it too.
Yeah, I mean, it works. But what are your thoughts on trying to pop somebody's eye out? Asking for a
No. Dane O'Brien 1,000 times with hell no. So no.
I only referenced that because it was just such a strange time during the pandemic. I don't even know how that even happened.
Seth and Ray did it more believable.
Yeah, they did. But at the same time, when I saw the headline, I was like, how is this going to work?
But the actual, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've seen two guys get in a fight in the locker room, and I've seen somebody get their eye hooked. I don't think that's something they were going to put on TV, but what they did worked. But at the same time, I was still very surprised they even would try something like that. Oh. But hey,
Ruby's not a fan of the pandemic era.
You're just asking for trouble. Do you not get the entire thing about the gift of sight? I mean, seriously, what if you lose? Like, something goes wrong with an optic nerve and you screw yourself up. Now you're out with one eye. That's stupid. Or if you try to sell it, no, stay away from my damn eye sockets. Yeah, I mean, you rake my eyes, fine. But if you try to go in like you're trying to pop a pimple, you better get the hell out of here, Miller.
The best screwdriver tool to ever be used was Randy Orton in Jeff Hardy's ear.
Oh God!
Oh Lord! Oh my God!
That was awesome.
I tried to block that out of my mind. Thank you.
Not to mention, I don't like Jeff Hardy, so
I'm not a big fan either. Let's go ahead and put.
I love this guy.
And I used to love Matt too. Until all that weird stuff started happening around 2010.
No. Okay, back up. Pump the brakes.
Yep.
Pump the brakes. You gotta
by the way.
You gotta respect. You gotta respect the broken.
I did enjoy that. But I was pissed off that he was throwing away opportunities that so many people were working for. That's all that got me. But
okay, I can get you behind that. But Matt Hardy's always been the brains.
Yes, I mean, he's been the most technically sound guy that never got his due, and I was 100%. Still hopeful that was going to happen. But yeah, the Woken thing, that was which one? Woken, Broken? I forget which one came first. But
so Broken was in Impact.
Okay, that's
and on the indie scene. Woken was when he came to WWE and they dropped the ball on him.
And the Broken was absolutely hilarious stuff too. So I mean, kudos to them for thinking outside the box and taking the chance to do all that. Because, I mean, it gave some quality entertainment, and he even got his own family involved in it.
If we don't have Matt Hardy, we don't have any of the cinematography wrestling.
No, we do not.
Right.
Plain and simple. That's why I will always say, and I know this just became a rant, that's why I always say Matt Hardy is the better Hardy. Jeff Hardy rode the coattails of Matt Hardy to success and just happened to have the right friends in the right position to get to his position. That's it. He was never good. He was never good.
He was a great dancer.
He falls off shit. That's it. That's why he's famous. That's literally the reason he's famous. People remember him because he fell off shit. He didn't even jump. He fell.
I think it's because Michael Hayes could talk him into falling off things.
True.
Because I love you, but can you fall off this?
Kurt Angle jumped off the cage. Jeff Hardy literally just falls.
Catch me!
He falls.
Catch.
God.
All right. So we've had fun tonight with our podcast, but you also have your own podcast.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit more about how that got started, what it's all about, what do you talk about, and go through some details of your show.
Yeah, so it's a funny story how it all started, because I've been thinking about it for a while, especially during the pandemic, just looking for other ways to, use a microphone and, possibly turn it into a side hustle and make extra money. But I never could come up with a concept or, anything like that. And then during my normal corporate job, I happened to be walking through where they were hosting the annual podcast convention. And I see all these people there that are guests. I see them advertising, like Will Ferrell doing the Ron Burgundy podcast. I walk by Conrad Thompson and Jeff Jarrett. They're doing something. And I'm just like, okay, this is something that I want to be involved with, but I've got to stop, spinning my wheels and actually get something done. And I started thinking about all these people I knew. Like I'd mentioned Chris Michaels earlier. I'd mentioned, I knew all these people that were actors that you may have heard in commercials, but you don't know them personally, or there's somebody that's trying to get to that level and they have a story to tell, but they just haven't had a chance to get out there. So I thought about how can I get these people to come on and tell their stories, and then also too talk about their mental health and how they prioritize that, especially in these businesses that have a lot of rejection and a lot of things that aren't really, productive for your mental health that can seriously take a toll on it. And within the first day of it, I came up with 50 people that wanted to, come on after reaching out, whether it was acting coaches or, different wrestlers or different things like that. And a lot of it was people that I grew up, that I loved as, voice actors, whether it was, like Bob Bergen or, the people that did the Dragon Ball voices like Stephanie Nadolny or Linda Young or Elise Bowman, somebody like that. And all these people want to come on and they want to tell their stories. And that just, the little kid in me, that blows my mind, because I want to have this conversation, but I also don't want to be a fanboy at the same time. But then you find out that, they've had their struggles. They've had these things that humanize them, that these are people we put on pedestals that we pay to go see at conventions and get an autograph or whatever. And you hear their stories and you can relate to it. And then like somebody like Chris Michaels, for example, he was my first guest, and, he's been everywhere, but he's never gotten the contract for a major company. And my question for him was, like through all the injuries, through all this, through working with these big people, but never getting the shot yourself, how do you keep going? Just because, there's somebody out there that can probably relate to that, and they don't know how to talk about it. They don't feel comfortable opening up about it. But if they hear somebody, like being vulnerable and being open that they know or that they can relate to, it might be something that helps them. And that's kind of been the process of it. And it's also a free platform for them to promote whatever they're doing. I've got a friend that started a tattoo shop. That was her way to come on and promote, or, different wrestling promoters, different authors. And then selfishly too, I'm learning all these different mental health things that I'm completely neglecting myself. And I'm getting to have these opportunities to steal from what they're doing to, help myself get better at the same time. And it's somehow been going on for 2 years. And let's see, this last week was 2 years and a week. So I don't know how it's gone that long, but this is the 5th season that it's in right now. And, I've got my friend Jeff that does the engineering, and he's even come up with some ideas where we talk to fellow scare actors in the haunt world about what got them in, how people can get involved with that. And he does all the engineering and the graphics for it. So it's kind of like a 2-man team, but it's taken on a life of its own that I never really thought that it would come to. And I've still got like a lot of guests and a lot of audio that hasn't even aired yet that I recorded, like pretty much stockpiled last year, with names people might even know, so like there's a lot of celebrities that have been on. I just had Jeffrey Cantor a couple weeks ago, Spencer Wilding, who was the guy in the Darth Vader suit for Rogue One. So there's been a lot of people I'd never really thought I would get the chance to talk to, but they're coming on here, they're telling their stories, they're giving advice to people that want to get into these realms and don't know how. And it's just so cool because by the end of it, whether I've met them in person or not, or we've just had a one-on-one Zoom session, I basically walk away feeling like I've made a new friend, or I've been talking to a friend I've known for years. And same thing here tonight, because I mean, the chemistry more than anything is what does it for me. And everybody always comes away saying that it feels like I just had a conversation with a friend. And that's probably the biggest compliment I can get. But the main goal of it was just to get people's stories out there and get more focus on mental health more than anything else, to kind of sum it all up.
Dude, you said words that already
QR code.
Yeah, click the QR code.
Yep, it drops every Friday and it's on all major platforms. And there are some video interviews on YouTube as well. So all that's in the QR code there.
But you said words that are dear to my heart. Like you said, this is a full conversation, and I truly believe the three last guests that we've had between what was his name? God dang it. I have terrible memory sometimes. So
was it Brick Savage? Is that who?
Brick Savage is one of them. Now you, and then who was the other guy that did the mental health stuff?
Wasn't
right before Brick Savage?
Wasn't Sigmund? Was it?
You're gonna make me go back, Ruby.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna have to hold on. I could probably see.
But no, you guys talking about all the mental health stuff and whatnot. Like, mental health is a big game to me, as I'm a borderline personality disorder.
Right.
So I have BPD. Very, very difficult to manage and control, and not. I just recently, so I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. What? 2009, I think it was. I'm 36 now, so it's been a long time. Yeah. And I just learned about splitting.
Oh wow!
Never knew it was a thing.
And it makes sense too. Like nobody knew about this stuff. You know, like especially like like say our parents or our grandparents' ages. It was just classified as somebody being an energetic child, or they were reckless and wild. They didn't pay attention. Come to find out, like they have ADHD or they have anxiety or something like that, and they're just trying to get by, but nobody knew what it was at the time, or they just ignored it. So I mean, it's cool to know like that we're still learning stuff about it as we go on now. Like you said, you were diagnosed in 2009, and you just learned something new about it too. Like
yeah, it was two years ago. I learned about the splitting. It was via TikTok. I have a small borderline personality community that I have found in that, and they were talking about it, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, what you guys are talking about makes a lot of sense. And then I went and started doing research about it, talked with my therapist about it and everything else, and I'm like, is this something that I've gone through? Like, have you noticed it or noticed when I've been in talking? He's like, yeah, this is something that I was going to bring to your attention, actually, and didn't know if you knew. And yeah, had a great conversation. It was JSC, by the way. JSC.
Yeah, I was probably
another great dude, awesome cat. But you guys have a lot of like mentality that I feel like we need in this world right now, and being strong guys, and that mentality of like, hey, we all have that crack in the armor at times, and how can we help each other and be there for each other, and we need that in the locker rooms. Right. I don't care what locker room you're in. We need that kind of mentality in the locker room.
And that's the thing too. And it goes beyond the locker room, because for the longest time, like I didn't have, my dad wasn't around in the picture. And when he was, he didn't want to be. I had my grandfather, who ended up being my godfather, as my role model, but he's from the generation where you love your family, but you work hard, you kind of keep your emotions to yourself, and you just, lace up your boots and go. So I always struggled with it because I didn't know how to communicate it, or if I would come off like I was whining and complaining. So it took me being a 30-something-year-old man to finally admit, hey, I need to talk to a therapist. Hey, I need to get on antidepressants, because, stupid me, I realize I've got 2 kids that are watching me now, and I don't want them to think that I'm just, that this is just normal and this is okay, because you've got to set an example for them. And I also don't want to get to the point where I may do something stupid and I'm not around for them anymore. It's something that a lot of people don't talk about, or they tell you just suck it up. Like there's a lot more than that really I think people need to focus on, and not be afraid to focus on at the same time.
in. I tell my kids I work for a company called Bella Ease, right there. That's my heart and soul right there is that company right now. It's here. We're a nonprofit organization here in Quincy, Illinois. I work with local teens in the community and stuff. And one of the things I keep telling them is I'm tired of people not wanting to see change, but not becoming the change. We'll never see change in our lifetime. We won't see it unless we start being the change and start being the example that we need to show and have that compassion, that empathy, but yet still have a hard stick. It's okay to have a hard stick, but you have to be able to also become a little bit soft at times and a little bit more vulnerable to really express and have conversations that really need to be had. Dude, keep it up, man. Like,
thank you. And same to y'all too, because I mean, there needs to be a lot more of that, especially working with teenagers when they're, in that fundamental phase where they can either go down the right path or they can easily be swayed down the wrong path too. Like, it's nice to know that they have somebody there that cares for them. So my hat's off to you for what you're doing.
Hey, dude, I take it as I left my job 3 years ago at Sam's Club, making $22 an hour, making good money, had benefits, everything.
Right.
But I mentally was not in the state. I have 4 kids. My youngest son was just getting born. I was in this mental downward spiral that I'll say it right here. I did not think I was going to wake up.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I understand.
So finally I left work. I called my wife basically that day and I said, do I have your permission? You've been trying to get me to quit for the last 4 months, and find another job. Do I have your permission just to walk out of here? And my wife goes, 100%. I stand beside you. Did it. And it's been, have I lost money? 100%. Did it put us in a financial bind? 100%. But I have grown. Bounds emotionally, mentally, and even physically because of that decision that I am showing my kids how to truly be.
And that's
Go ahead. You can say it.
That's the thing nobody talks about, because I was in a very similar situation in a corporate job, but their mentality was always, your best isn't good enough. I was doing everything that a manager does without the title and without the pay. And I was basically juggling 5 things at once, but when it came to it, wouldn't promote me. That every excuse in the book you could give for why you wouldn't promote me, even with certifications that they said would qualify me over themselves. And, it's just, it got to the point where I was miserable coming home. I didn't want to get up and go to work. And it was a good paying job. Even with the pandemic going on, things, just affecting it, it was a good paying job. But the culture, everything about it was just making me unhappy, making me miserable to be around at home. And, my brother-in-law still works there. My best friend still works there. And they, I have those romantic fantasies of going back and making the money again. But at the same time, there's all these things now. They're tracking where everybody is. They're doing this, they're doing that. And nobody's happy. So it's just, it's a toxic culture, and nobody talks about that because they just say, suck it up, make the money, and go to work. You're not there to be happy. You're there to do a job and pay the bills. But if you dread going every day, that's no way to live. That is no way to live. And no amount of money, no matter how much we need it, can make that worth it, because it's not good for your mental health. It's not good for the people around you. And I wish more people would understand that, because then it might actually change some of these companies and their cultures. And here I am, a villain, saying all this, but what do I know?
Right, exactly. Oh man, but no, but that's great. That, I mean, to hear all these stories and to come out,
Absolutely.
Makes it, like I said, there's just no shame in all that, because we're all real people outside the ring. All of us are.
Absolutely.
And we eat and breathe and sleep like everybody else.
Yep.
So, just when it comes show day, then we're invincible and don't touch us, or, if we're heels, then we're going to shout in your face. So, just know that. So
it. I'm there to entertain you, but not for you to physically abuse.
Right. Exactly. So, but man, so like I said, we've been having such a great time here with you here tonight, and
thank you. It's been a pleasure on my end too.
Yeah. So we're We're getting close to the end here with you here, but I mean, you spend a lot of time with us here tonight, and we do greatly appreciate that.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah. So, like I say, you travel many states. You've been through different promotions. Obviously, you've been hitting the road. So whether it be good or bad, what are some memorable road stories that you can share with us and the audience that are either funny or have stuck with you for any other reasons that are just notable and just make us say, "Oh my God, what in the world?"
Okay, so I'll give you one because I gave you the story for going up to Indianapolis for SmackDown last year, but this is one from 2012, and this guy's popular to a lot of people, but he's controversial to others. I won't say the name, but I'll give the initials RBG, and I'll tell you that he was in the video that you mentioned about JBL at the border. So it's so funny how this happens too, because I remember specifically, this was the first night that I'd ever gotten to work for or challenge for the NWA World's Junior Heavyweight Championship. I was on my way back from the match with Kevin Douglas, who was the champion at the time, going back to Nashville. And the guy I'm riding with, he's in communication with this guy down in Texas. And he says, "Hey, would you guys want to go work for this NWA promotion this summer? It'll pay more than what they're paying here in Nashville. And we can get a carload of us to go." And me being, I was an NWA Mid-America champion at the time. I said, "Yeah, let's go. It's another state to work in. And I'd love the opportunity." So we get everything set up. Comes down to time. This would have been in July that we were going. It comes down to just me and one other guy going out of 4 that were supposed to go. People were warning us left and right, be careful going down there and working for this guy. He's not on the up and up most of the time, and he could seriously screw you over. So I get a call from him. He makes sure that everything's still good to go. He gives us a hotel and an address where we have our reservations, even gives us a confirmation number. So we leave out the night before. So we'd get there in the morning, get to the hotel, be able to take a nap and all that before the show and get freshened up. So we get down to San Antonio about 8 in the morning. We go to the hotel that we were booked at and just think, hey, maybe they'll let us check in early so we can get some sleep. So they say, "No, but you can come back at this time and you can check in." So we crash for about 30 minutes in my car in the parking lot, roll the windows down, take a nap. Then we go eat breakfast. We come back when it's time. We don't have you in the system. We don't have a reservation for you. Oh, I see your face, but it gets better. Try to call the guy, straight to voicemail. Try to call him again, straight to voicemail. Call him a third time, and I'm dropping like every 4-letter word in the book I can think of. Like just trying to not just make an idiot of myself in this parking lot. And then, like 15 minutes later, he calls me back and says, "Hey, I'm sorry that fell through. I tried to call you." No, he didn't. "But I've got you another reservation at a hotel. Here's the address." So he's like, "This is one my cousin owns, and he'll meet you there to let you in your room." So we get there. We go from the heart of downtown San Antonio to the slums and ghettos of San Antonio to a near dilapidated Bates Motel that his cousin owns. And we're the only 2 people in this hotel.
Oh,
the only water that works at the time is cold water. But at this point, thankfully the TV worked. But at this point, I said, "Screw it, fine, whatever. I want to go to sleep." So we get in there, we sleep for about 3 hours, wake up. Other dude takes a cold shower. I regret saying I didn't take one, but I knew I was going to get sweaty again anyway. But we go eat. We try to find the building. And it keeps taking us to this abandoned Salvation Army warehouse. I don't think that's the right place. Get him on the phone again. "Oh, yeah, it's in the back of the Salvation Army warehouse." Okay, so we get there.
Oh, man.
And I swear, this is all 100% true, and it keeps getting better. We show up. This building has no AC. Doesn't even have a working restroom. But at least it's got a ring and an entrance ramp and a stage. So that's got to be a plus, right? Well, come to find out, we have to work twice that night. We work as singles, and then we come back and work as a tag in the main event as the big invading heels from Tennessee working the 2 Texas baby faces, and yada, yada, yada. but we don't start the show until an hour after the fact because he can't get the sound system to work. It gets better. Oh my God, it gets better. So we do our individual matches, and then we go and do the tag match. One of the guys, you see people covering themselves in baby oil or whatever.
Oh, no.
One of the guys covers himself in cooking spray. Cooking spray. And I'm already out there like soaking wet with sweat.
Just Crisco himself.
Yeah.
Damn, bitch.
Yeah.
And then he goes, he calls a spot, not to pull it back behind the curtain, but he goes, tilt-a-whirl head scissors. So I'm in position to catch him. I go to catch him, and he just... I'm a heel, but either way. But I mean, it's like, and I'm like, I just like, what are you blaming me for? You're the one that's covered in this. I'm covered in sweat. That's on you for calling it. But we finished the match. He near knocks me out with a Russian leg sweep because somehow he angled it where I end up in a high neck bump. Whatever, got through that. So we're getting changed, and I'm sitting there waiting to get paid. Everybody's gone but us. So I see the guy, and I ask him like, "Hey, is it cool to square up and get paid so we can go?" He goes, "Oh, there's no pay. There's no pay." And I forgot to mention too, there were only 7 people in the crowd.
Good God.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there trying not to flip my mind. I'm looking at everything in this building that I could possibly take that would even out to the amount of money that was agreed upon. Whether it's, a 65-pound dumbbell or the crippled chihuahua that the ticket lady's holding. Like, I'm just trying to see what I can get away with and get out of here and not get arrested. And, then I finally just threw my suitcase down the stairs and said, F it, let's go. I said, and I told him too, don't ever ask us back down here. Don't try and pull this bullshit again. And we called the guy in Nashville that helped set it up. And he'd already been in contact with this other person. And he goes, "Oh, no, I never told you guys would get paid."
Whoa.
The hell you say? So at that point, I'm like, do you want to just get food? Then we drive back tonight. I don't care. I'm mad enough at this point. I can stay up. He goes, "No, let's just eat, then go home, go to the hotel, and then we'll leave early in the morning. We'll leave at 4. We sleep through our alarms and wake up at 7. And I try to push 90 to get out of Texas. And right before we get the state line, I get pulled over by a state trooper and get a speeding ticket.
Oh,
It's the ultimate road trip from hell. Like if I could have gone back and told myself, don't go to that, I completely would have, but I can look back at it now and laugh at least. But I mean, it was the most frustrating thing at the time because like you turn a blind eye to all these people that were telling you the right things, and it's just like, well, shit, it's a new state. Maybe it's another NWA promotion I can work with, and just you do all these things, but it gives you a funny story to tell, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my God.
But I'm sure some people know who I'm talking about. But well,
yeah, no. With me, I mean, just hearing all of this. I mean, I've had some stories myself, but that's a first. Coming out with the spray, like, what the hell? What's your name? Teflon? What the hell? Stop spraying yourself.
And I've always seen like one other person do that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I use baby oil and a spray bottle here and there, but cooking oil, Pam, like, I don't want bits. Like, I don't understand. Like, make it make sense to me, please.
Is your name
Oh my! No. Some guys I know they've done baby oil, done a light coat of baby oil on them to show them off. And then when I go and I'm sweaty, and then I go and try to pick somebody up for a power bomb, and they're slipping. I'm like, excuse me. But I'm like, damn. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, you can't do it safely because you're worried about them slipping off.
God, it's almost like if I know you're going to do that, I have to get like cloth athletic tape to put on my fingers. So I can at least grab something and you make sure that you don't slip. Hopefully you don't slip out of down my arms while I'm power bombing you or something. It's just like, that's just crazy.
And I actually had that happen to me once in my first year. He's my best friend now, but he went to get me for a power bomb and he was, he wore baby oil, got me halfway up and he started losing his grip on me, but thankfully he was able to get me back up and do it. But I mean, it was that like millisecond of, I might get Brian Pillman here or something, but dude, it happens. It's scary. And it's, like, again, just spray yourself with water. You'll be fine. Like, you don't need to get all sheened up. It's ridiculous.
Right. I understand.
The Teflon Commanders.
I just don't get it. Trust me, when I'm doing something out of town, or like when I was promoting, because I'm in the St. Louis area, I was actually trying to promote out of Evansville, and when I brought people in, they either tried to get, it's like, hey, let me try to get you half now, and you'll get half when you get there,
right?
Therefore. I mean, if they don't show, then it's like, you got to work to see if you can reschedule or if you lose your money.
Yeah.
So that's the risk that you take.
Right.
And hopefully, like I said, if someone's going to book me out of town, I would like to kind of honor that same agreement. It's like, give me something to get there, and then I'll get the rest when I get back, or when I do my job.
And I hate to say it, but in today's day and age, thankfully, there are people that'll tell you up front, like, hey, unfortunately, that's out of my budget. I appreciate that. But there are others that, like, as soon as you start talking business or you start trying to talk where you're not going in the red, they just disappear. You can see they read the messages, but they just disappear. Like, it's like, I'm sorry, but I do equate it to acting sometimes where I'm not going to come and try and break your bank, but if this is what I charge for an hour in studio, and I'm including driving to your show in that because it's an hour or 2 hours away. That's not unreasonable, especially if it's taking me away from my family and I'm going to come and I'm going to bring something valuable to your product. I'm not trying to break the bank because I want to do repeat business with you. And as the opportunities progress, if we can get more money involved, then if you think I'm worth it, then let's do it. But, again, it's just, it's business. You've got to treat it, because if somebody's traveling to come to your show, you obviously see enough in them that you want them there. So give them something up front to get them there, and then finish it up when they're there. It's simple business.
Exactly. I mean, I disagree. Just if you're going to book talent outside your state, or if it's going to be a lengthy drive, just kind of inquire into it. I mean, because if you don't acquire at least what you have to get out of it, like, can I bring my merch? Do you have a table for me to sell?
Absolutely.
What do you have a rate for me? Before you even walk out the door and even travel down the road,
right?
However far it is to their menu, you got to line that out.
Yep.
And and I'm sure, like I said, not knowing that what was discussed on that deal. Oh my God, if pay was promised to me, I'll be looking to somebody when I got back home, and be like, look. And be like, I'm calling bullshit. Bullshit.
Bullshit. We ended up falling out after that anyway. But it's just it's one of those things where, again, like, you don't think twice about it because the person's done so much for you and gotten you on at all these other places. Why would they do it now? But here we are. It's just one of those things. We should have, instead of being so eager to go, we should have agreed on something up front, gotten half of it there, and then. But it is what it is.
Yeah, like I said, we got a buddy that's actually had a horror story in Texas, down in the Houston area too. That's that was supposedly an affiliate of AIWF, but was quickly. Oh, hey, stop it! So, I mean, you hate hearing stories. It's funny to hear stories like that because you're like, oh my God, I can't believe. But then, like, when you experience that, it's like, we don't want to walk in those shoes.
Right, exactly.
Because,
and I'll be honest, it's hard to bite my tongue sometimes or not be a keyboard warrior when I see him chime in on something about doing right in the business. And it's like, really? Because there was one time I was petty enough to do it. And I chimed in and said, well, hey, what do you think about promoters that don't start the show on time because they can't get the sound system to work? And he goes, I think that's an absolute travesty to the business, and I think it's the worst thing they could do. Who is the promoter? And I just wrote back, you, ... and left it, and he never replied back. And I'm surprised I didn't get blocked, but it is what it is. It's like, call a spade a spade.
Right. Oh my goodness.
I like it. I'm in.
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm sure, with Matt Classic, I'm sure affiliated with the AIWF, I'm sure he'll lead you down.
Oh, absolutely.
In the U.S. chapter here with the AIWF. And
I've already been working with him. I'm trying to, I want to take it seriously. Anywhere that I can take the championship, I want to go. So I don't have a passport yet, but I would love a reason to get one. So
that's right.
Ooh.
Talk turkey first before you start getting it, though.
Of course.
Yeah.
As always.
Yeah, you get over there.
Yeah.
I mean, that actually 20 minutes. A recent conversation talking to another AIWF affiliate. They flat out told me we can't afford to bring you coast to coast, but if you're ever out in the area, like on vacation with your family or something, or you're out there for, something acting wise, let us know and we'll get you on the card. So I appreciate the upfront, the upfront honesty about that. So I'd rather do that than get all the way out there and be SOL and be bankrupt by that point.
Right.
Exactly. But as far as like your other venture here, like I said, I know you're wearing the shirt here, which by the way, gold and blue are some good colors for a
absolutely.
Podcast. Just,
I wonder why we thought that.
I tried to officially go cobalt blue. It's kind of more of a royal blue with this, which when we get our new t-shirts in. When we get our new t-shirts in, we will be having more of the cobalt blue.
I love it.
So the I Know You Hear Me podcast is on Instagram, Twitter, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and then of course, you have all your pages. Like I said, with this QR code, you can go see his commercial or hear his commercial demo. And of course you got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yep.
You got your own YouTube channel. Like I said, just of course your LinkedIn, your professional profile on LinkedIn, your merchandise.
Yep.
Pro wrestling tees. You can see the promo that you did on Raw.
You can even go on the YouTube channel and see that chop I was telling y'all about earlier too.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was looking at that. So, is it the when someone asked Flynn Hendrix to chop them? Is that the one?
That's it.
Okay,
trying to bring it up.
Let's see if I can.
Oh boy!
Oh
and if my battery will allow me, I'll tell you the backstory behind it too. Once it's done, or I can tell it now while we're pulling it up. But essentially, the guy that did this, or the volunteer to do this, we'd met the year before at the convention. And, he loved professional wrestling. He was a big CM Punk fan. And he said, my biggest thing is I want to know what it's like to be chopped by a professional wrestler. But he didn't do it the year before. So when we saw each other again this year, he's like, it drove me crazy not doing it. So now I have to do it. And during one of the live streams at the convention, we did it. And he flat out volunteered, took his shirt off, and there you go. And if we can pull it up, I will say there was no sound enhancement. This is all like 100% real, and the acoustics of the room made it just like absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to absolutely try here.
All right.
To try to see if I can add.
Hey, Ruby, one of his episodes has Dan the Beast Severin on it.
Yes,
I noticed that. Yes.
And that was a fun conversation too, because he was driving cross country and we talked at like 10:30 at night, just for like an hour and a half, so he could stay awake driving from Ohio to Arizona. And we recorded that for the podcast.
That's awesome.
It was a fun time because I was half skeptical it wasn't going to happen. But, when he finally did, it was like, yeah, let's go. I was like,
we also had a great conversation with Dan the Beast Severin.
Yes, we did. Hopefully there's going to be audio with this, but I'm going to try and play it.
Oh, no audio.
Oh, damn.
Can you guys hear it, though?
No, I didn't hear it. He can hear it. We can't.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it up. We might lose our guy, but.
Wow. That is, that's no joke. That is horrible. Yeah, I'd actually have to try to get the video downloaded. Oh yeah, you hear that? That is horrible. Wow.
I will say he took it better than a lot of wrestlers did. I will say that right now.
Man.
He took it like a champ.
Man, kudos to that guy, because I'm sure no matter what color skin you've got there, you're going to have red welts if it's done.
I mean, he came back for the rest of the convention like he was joking about it, and like he loved it.
I'm putting that right on Falls Count. I mean, we talk wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My gosh, yes. And at least, oh yeah, I gotta close this tab out here. I got too many tabs open. There you go.
Sounds like my brain.
Running out of room, and I got a 32-inch screen because I'm old and I need large sight to see. So, like, one other thing here, like I said, I know we had your QR code up there for a while. People go back and look, and they can scan it. But I think we're this upcoming Friday, we're having a celebration of sorts, and I think we need to do a salute. I think.
Oh yes, please.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So
we should all rise for this. Actually,
yeah, rise if you want to, but
I can't.
Yeah, I can't anyway. But anyway, here we go. It's the Edge of Allegiance.
Oh, that's good.
Dude, him and Sheamus are gonna have a banger.
I know.
And I'm pumped. That's somebody I just started watching his YouTube channels, his Celtic Warrior workouts.
Yep.
That stuff's crazy cool.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. That's intense stuff.
We just watched LA Knight and him.
Oh,
their workout.
Man.
Oh yeah. Right.
I don't know how he does some of the stuff on there because that.
I think it's cool that he's going around and trying everybody else's workouts.
Yeah.
Like that's a really, really cool thing. Like,
it's definitely commendable because I'm a creature of habit. Like, I had to get somebody to start designing routines for me, but it's, oh man, I don't know. I have a hard time getting out of the habit once I get used to something I like. So good on him for that.
Highly recommended show, by the way.
Absolutely.
Just saying. What do you think about the 25 years of Edge?
I'm just glad that he got a chance to come back and do it on his terms. Because I was at WrestleMania 27 as a fan, and just not knowing at the time that was his last match, that was the coolest thing to know, that I got to be there for that moment. And I was expecting him to lose that night. I was completely expecting him to lose to Alberto Del Rio, but then, flash forward a couple weeks, he's on Raw. I'm out on a date with my girlfriend at the time. I started getting all these notifications that he's retiring. I'm like, what is this? You go back and watch, and then it's just like, man, that sucks, because he gave so much and he ended up doing so much, but he didn't get to do it on his terms, but then he gets to come back, and that pop at the Royal Rumble is just absolutely insane. And he's one of the guys that I've selfishly kind of stolen from gear design wise, where, whether it's like getting the matching elbow pads to match the gear, or just getting something that catches your eye, just as Matt Cardona or Brian Myers would say, toyetic, just having a unique look that matches every time you wear it. That's always stood out to me, and the money and the time that he spent in that was something that I still use to this day, whether my wife likes it or not. We won't talk about that, but it's it's something like he's done so much, and I'm glad that he's still getting to be out here and work with these younger guys now that grew up watching him, because he was always like that too, like getting to work with Mr. Perfect back in the day or whatever it was. Like, that's such a cool thing that he's still able to give back and do it on his terms now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And him and Sheamus they're gonna have a really good match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that will be pretty awesome here. And
I kind of hope this one turns into a more of a storyline.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a one-off thing.
Absolutely.
I think, yeah, and I thought it was really funny. Okay, we've been calling old Pete Boy Butch for a while, and he literally, if you did not watch SmackDown, Edge goes, "Hey Pete, hey Ridge," like I'm like, oh, he just what?
I love it.
Make it be, bring
Please.
back Pete Dunne.
Right.
Such good stuff.
I was never really a fan of that name change, by the way. So
I don't think anybody was.
I wasn't, but I am at the same time. Just because, like, he's working it and he's doing good with it, so you can't be mad about it. Like,
right.
And I still think it's a slap in the face of somebody else. I'm not gonna say, but I think it was a slap in the face.
Could be.
If the rumors are true, I don't know. I'm not backstage. I have no idea. But
I'm gonna have to get a charger here because my laptop is about to die.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, yeah, I understand. I mean, you're taking a lot of time here. And,
no problem.
Like I said, I mean, I appreciate you
course.
joining us here tonight. Once again, I'm going to put up this QR code for everything that you do here. Once again, anything for your merchandise sales, 10% going to the Nashville Humane Society, and then also St. Jude's Children's Research. So,
and
that's definitely notable and worthy.
Absolutely. And I'll say too, like I'm a t-shirt snob. I don't like rough feeling t-shirts. So if you get one, they're comfy, they fit good, and you'll like it. You know, it's just not only do you get something comfy, but you do help a good cause. And, you know, even if you can't support financially, even a like, a follow, a review, anything, just word of mouth, it all helps. So anything you do, and there's more than just wrestling stuff at my store too. So if you want an event poster, you want something Star Wars related, I got a little bit of everything because I'm a nerd for it all too. And anything I sell, it all benefits the charities too. So
there you go.
Oh, there he goes. There he's got it.
I don't know. There's a Zmiz might have to do a purchase.
Yes.
There you go. Well, like I said, I mean, guys, make sure you're scanning that QR code to go and check out his link tree and all. I mean, he has got a lot going on. And of course, you know, Flynn being very busy outside as a voice actor, even acting on stage in town in Nashville. Still working shows, and especially you've also got a big event coming up for defending your title too, don't you?
Yeah, I've actually got a few defenses coming up. First one will be in Monticello, Kentucky on the 19th for UCW and Triple Crown Wrestling. I don't know who that will be against just yet. But then I do know that on September 8th in Tullahoma, Tennessee, then I'm going to be defending there as well. They're doing a tournament right now to determine who's going to be the number one contender, but they are running that through right now. So I'm keeping a close eye on that. But then I'm also going to be in Jackson, Tennessee at the end of the month for the last 2 Thursdays. So I'll be in the same building as our heavyweight champion, Greg Anthony. So we'll see what goes on there.
Awesome.
Ooh.
Awesome.
I feel some like tension between you two.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love being a television champion, but I also would be dumb to, not challenge the heavyweight champion as well. You know, I mean, everybody, you want to be in the business, you want to be the heavyweight champion.
Make that pocketbook go up. I get it. I'm good with it.
There you go. There you go. You know, take that next step, you know, climb up that ladder,
That's it.
There you go.
16 years, something's got to come of it.
Right. There you go. Well, like I said, I know your power's running out, and but we appreciate you taking the time out. Great, from some great insight and great stories. Great. I mean, we definitely wish you the best of luck.
I appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
You know, throughout your career, and like I said, make sure if you run into anybody else that's looking for a good way to spend their Sunday nights, is very respectable.
Absolutely.
In there.
I can get you some. I can get you some good talent on here too. I'll start making some connections for you guys.
Yeah. Bring them our way, my friend. Bring them our way,
because we always love to firsthand now what we're all about. So, we definitely want to make sure we're doing that here. So we thank you very much, and I think we might have just lost him because his laptop just went out.
Yeah, so, he might. He did. That's all right.
That's fine if you do it's. Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, hold on.
Is he messaging you?
Yes, he is. He's like, It died. Can I help with my phone? I'm like, yes.
I love it. He wants to come back. Like, I love it. Dude.
Yeah, well, I guess he just wanted to make sure we say a proper goodbye to him. So that's fine. So hang tight, because I was trying to let him know that, hey, what we're about the mail. I mean, like some great stuff here. I mean, getting him on and
and
he's back.
Yay, there he is.
Technology be damned.
There you go.
Oh, man. Well, it lasted for 2 hours at least, so that's a plus.
There you go.
Might be time for a new laptop or a new battery, one of the two.
That's what happens when you got a bunch of different programs running on it. Who knows?
How about an extension cord so you can keep that plugged in?
Absolutely. Go steal my wife and just bring it in here.
Nice toy room.
But yeah, I will definitely get you guys in contact with some other good guests because, I mean, trust me, I can't say names for kayfabe reasons, even though I've kind of broken kayfabe tonight, but there are some good guys I can get you in contact with, and they'll be just as entertaining.
Yeah. So, but while you're here, because I was going to talk about this here, at a recent, because I definitely want your insights, because obviously you're doing you do a podcast like every one of us here.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay from IWGP recently just had a title defense that he was successful on. But check this out. He changed it to the UK title.
I like
it. Love it.
I like it. I mean, it's something different because, again, too, it's just something that you don't necessarily see every day. It's a way to make it his own. And then at the same time, whenever somebody beats him for it, it makes it that much more special when they do because they bring back the U.S. title, or if they're another British wrestler, they continue the UK title. It's just something different. It makes it a little bit more unique.
So I'm not going to lie. I kind of hope like this stays as a thing with this title.
I do too.
Like that it switches with countries, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's a good idea. That is a good idea.
Because I'm trying to remember how long he's had this title now. He's had it for a good while. And it makes sense because he's not from the U.S. Why am I keep defending the U.S. title?
Exactly.
So he decided, no, I'm making it the U.K. title, and so, but I like the work they did here, and it's really easy to switch out too with just getting new side plates and switching out that center.
Yeah, for sure.
And rebranding the country, And
it's on top of that, it's got people talking about it. So he did his job.
We talk about Will Ospreay all the time. He's one of not the greatest wrestlers going right now in the mainstream.
Absolutely.
Thick of it. If you don't like a Will Ospreay match, you're not watching professional wrestling, right? Because that guy can go either flying, ground, big man, so he can make people. And
that's what he doesn't get the credit for, because I still hear people that dump on him for being a flippy, high flying wrestler. Or he doesn't know this or know psychology, but if he can do all that, you're just not, like you said, you're not watching wrestling right, because he's very well rounded and he can work multiple styles and work with whoever he's in there with, and that is the sign of a great wrestler. I mean, there's no way around it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know if he's bigger than Seth when it comes to style. Like when Seth and him had their Twitter beef,
yeah,
and Seth was calling. I still have to side with Seth.
Not taking sides, but in a way I do too, because I mean, ultimately, you have to look at who's working for the major company.
Right.
I hate to put it in those terms, but it is what it is.
Okay, with that being said, see, I view New Japan on the same level as WWE.
Yes. And
I truly do, because they've been around about the same time.
Absolutely. And their talent can live off the money that they're making there.
Right. So I think if you put Will Ospreay in our American style, I know AEW kind of loosely does American style with Lucha Libre and all that stuff. Like, it's not set to the American style like WWE really is. WWE has that set mentality, style, atmosphere, but I think he would survive just as well as Seth, if not succeed.
Absolutely. And it all comes down to the person being willing to adapt to that environment more than anything else, because they will try and retrain you on things that they want done their way, or there's a reason why they're going after college athletes now, so they don't have to retrain, a lot of independent guys who may have picked up what they deem a bad habit. But if he's willing to, make adaptations but keep his style, he could go there and he could make a lot of money and be one of their next big stars. They just have to have the right time, place, and creative for him.
Amen.
Amen. And what a good match. If they put them right now at this day and age, if you get Will Ospreay and Seth Rollins in the same ring, holy crap.
Dude, that's a dream match of mine.
You could even say after a certain point too. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they did him and Logan Paul after.
Shit! Didn't think about that.
Or anybody, he can do it. If he's got somebody that he can work with, he can do it. So
damn it, that'd be actually a fun match,
right?
That would be fun. That would absolutely be fun. And and thinking about when we're talking about, I guess when we kind of with an AEW discussion here, because I know Z watches pretty much everything outside of WWE when he tries to, but with All In coming up in London, I mean, could they bring somebody in like a Will Ospreay or something if they're now he's made this the United Kingdom title?
I definitely think they could, and I would be very surprised if they didn't. The only thing I've seen is like a rumor that he may be working with Chris Jericho, but
oh my God, that would be such an excellent match. Jericho could make that work.
But I think that for me personally, I don't want to see that match. I don't know what it is, but I think there are other people there that he could work with as well. But I don't know. Some of them are probably injured. I think Pac might be injured. I would have loved to have seen, two English guys going at it in Wembley Stadium. That would be a good story to tell.
Pac versus Will Ospreay for that title would be a massive story for Wembley.
Absolutely.
And that'd be a killer match.
And the thing that's crazy is we don't even know everything that's going to happen there, I don't think. I think right now maybe only one match is announced.
Well, we know for certain now that we are getting MJF and Adam Cole.
Yes.
For certain. So that's going to happen. They are also on 0 Hour going to go against Will Ospreay's boys, Aussie Open, for the ROH titles. So that has been confirmed. And
I know part of people were dumping on that decision too.
Why?
They said it was stupid. Like I think Eric Bischoff said it was stupid to have your main event in a preliminary match where one of them could get hurt, which I get, but at the same time too, it wasn't stupid when WWE did it, back in the day with Chris Benoit and Edge, where he worked 2 matches on the pay-per-view. So as far as I see it, if they're working in the preliminary, that's another chapter to their story that can lead into that main event right there too. So
and the MJF and Adam Cole storyline, and I am not I will say it once again, Adam Cole reminds me a lot of Shawn Michaels, and I never really understood or got that character, the Adam Cole character, really.
Right.
Shawn, I get where he lies and how he came out, and all that stuff. I never understood the Adam Cole. I never really liked him in ROH. I was a Kyle O'Reilly fan.
Yeah.
So, but this character and development that him and MJF have, and the dynamics they have, and the character development, I've really come to enjoy Adam Cole now even more than I did when he was in Undisputed Era and all that kind of build up and all that stuff. But I think it's a good call. I think it's gonna be fun. Now, what happens if they win?
Yeah.
What happens if they win and then Adam Cole somehow takes the title? Where's the tension? What could play off on that? That's the thing.
There's so many different roads that it could branch off on. And, just stereotypically, my mind goes to who's going to betray the other in that match to lead into the main event. But you're right. What if they win the tag titles? What if, how does that keep the story going there? So, there's so many different ways that they've got themselves in a great position where they've got so many different options that are going to entertain the people either way. So people are going to leave happy.
That's AEW's mantra. The fans say that all the time. Why can't just people be happy? They don't fill stadiums all the time, but why can't people happy?
Yeah.
I look at both sides. I agree with that statement. Why
Yes.
can't you just be happy with wrestling? But when I feel like when I complain about AEW and certain things they do, it's not because I don't want to see them succeed. It's because I want to see them with them full rosters again, that full stadium. I want to see that for them and those boys and girls in the back doing the business. I think another one of the matches is this one I don't care about, but it's the Young Bucks versus FTR. I will watch it because that match is going to be killer, but I am highly against the Young Bucks. I've never really stood for him, except for
Same.
Matt. I like Matt. Once again, I like a Matt brother.
I love FTR. I love the old school. Reminds me of the Brain Busters. Just the way they work, how passionate they are about the business and everything. But I hate to say, I don't expect them to win for not the right reasons. I hate to say it, but I know it's going to be a good match. But I would love to see them walk away still champions.
I feel like it should be. Like, if I was booking the match, that's how I would book it. Yep. And that has nothing against the Young Bucks, because the Young Bucks, I see the value in them. I see why people like them. They don't fit me and I'll tell you why it is. So I have We Talk Wrestling Facebook group that I started, and that's how I got kind of pigeoned into my spot here, and all that stuff is started as a fan, just talking about it, crapping on it, being that keyboard warrior. Like, this is what I don't like. This is what I like. And, but the Young Bucks, it was Generation Me, Impact Wrestling, TNA. That's why I don't like the Young Bucks. Yep. Is that whole thing ruined them completely for me. I never got it, didn't enjoy it. And then when I went back and watched the ROH stuff, I'm like, nah. And then I met saw Punk and Joe do their match. And that's another one of the rumored matches is we're going to see Punk versus Joe again, because Joe doesn't want his tarnished, because he was undefeated against Punk, if I'm not mistaken.
So, yeah.
And Punk beat him with a roll-up. And Samoa Joe does not like that. So this week on Collision, he choked out CM Punk in their trios match against House of Black.
That's right. Yeah, because they're trying to build for that. And I think that's going to be another great match right there, too, because it's nostalgia. He owns Ring of Honor. Why would you not bring back one of the biggest angles they had there? And that's something that, whether people like him or not, they're going to tune in to see what happens with CM Punk, whether they want to admit it or not.
100%. I mean, I'm a huge CM Punk fan, so I don't really care. And Samoa Joe's
right.
Easily one of my favorite big dudes to ever walk
for sure.
the earth. Even though my buddy AJ will literally make fun of me every time. He's like, Joe's not that good. Kazarian wasn't that good either, but you still enjoy him.
And here they are both still working.
And making money. So who's the real fools?
And that's what it all comes down to right there, is that they're still working, but all these companies now are to a point where they're giving these guys places to work and they can make a living. And that's ultimately where, any guy on the indies would want to be too. So I don't understand why they, like you said earlier, you don't criticize to hope they shut down. You do it because you hope it gets better. Like, I don't understand the tribalism between all of it. Do I like everything one show does? No. Do I dump on the other show because of it? No. It's simple stuff. I just love that the business has multiple places now where it's not a monopoly anymore.
I mean, when WWE made the Trish Stratus Becky Lynch storyline, I crapped all over it. I hated everything about that storyline, and I criticized every inch of it. I still think it's been a jabroni storyline. Like, it hasn't helped either woman in my eyes. It doesn't make.
And that's the thing too, is you could have the two most talented people in the world, but if the creative and the booking isn't behind it, why should anybody care? They can't make, sometimes as try as you might, you can't always make chicken salad out of chicken crap. Try 100%. As you might, you can be the most talented person in the world. But if you're just given bad creative or they don't care, they don't focus on it, your hands are tied right out of the gate. You're already behind the 8 ball.
And I'll say it again, 100%. If you're not watching Impact Wrestling, who is the best mainstream wrestling right now, that is my personal opinion when it comes to everything in ring and even the storylines that are being told, everything. Impact is where it's at right now. It saddens me Impact does not get the views it deserves because they are really kicking.
Absolutely. And the only thing holding them back is a lot of people don't get the channel that they air on.
Right, 100%.
That's all it is. I mean, they've got solid talent there. The only thing I think I could even say that I didn't like that they did was taking a staple gun to PCO's mouth recently. That's the only thing that was a little iffy for me, but everything else,
I have to agree with that.
It's been good storytelling. It's been solid in-ring work. It's just good stuff, and it doesn't get the eyes that it needs.
And I love Josh Alexander.
Yes.
So Jake something was there for a while, and I think he's still there.
Action Mike Jackson pops up here and there. You know, you never know.
What Ace Austin's there, and I love him.
Yep.
Chris Brash or Brosh. Did I say that wrong? Chris Bay. Chris Bay.
Oh yeah,
that's what I mean.
Trying to think who. I was trying to put a face to the name.
I fudged up. But Chris Bay, he's a tremendous talent. Like there's so many guys there, and even the girls, Naomi now down there. So many. So
yeah.
No, if you're not watching Impact, you're really missing out.
Yes, you are.
Talking about fighting over WWE and AEW.
And I mean that's the thing too. I don't honestly think Impact has, and maybe not for the near future, will get the credit they deserve for being around so long, going through the multiple ownerships and the whole Dixie Billy Corgan shit show. You know, I think people just automatically go back to that. But they've had some of the most stacked rosters from the beginning. They just didn't have the eyes watching, or they didn't have the financial backing they needed to be successful. But they've had all these good players and all these good pieces. It just hasn't been properly put together.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I have been. I mean, I remember. I can't remember what year it was, but it was Bound for Glory one year. For my birthday, my buddies, because I'm like, dude, we gotta watch Impact. We gotta watch Impact. We gotta watch TNA. I promise you're missing out on wrestling. Like TNA is good, like except for Abyss, but everything else is good. Like Joseph Park was a way better character than Abyss. I'm sorry to say.
I will agree with that.
Nothing against him as a wrestler. Kane. Right. It's Mankind Kane had a baby. That is Abyss. Once again, nothing against the guy, the character, anything like that. Joseph Park was a better character for him, and it worked, and it played out. But so they finally rented. They ordered the pay-per-view for me, and I ended up having one of the worst fevers of my life. Getting stupid sick.
No.
I passed out at my buddy's house, like barely made it home. Like my grandma and them ended up having to take me to the hospital because this story could go like, so my buddy's finally, and I've just been a TNA guy. I have been a TNA guy. TNA was the bomb.
Absolutely. And I mean, it gave us like the best, like some of the best years of Kurt Angle's career too. Like it does not get its due for that.
Christian Cage.
Yes.
Even Jeff Hardy stuff. I will do the deed. Even Jeff Hardy stuff then was actually better.
Yeah.
Itchweed was a great character. So
I mean, just there's so many things that like I could be an asshole to and say, where else are you going to see Sting beat him in less than 3 minutes on a pay-per-view? You know, like, where are you going to see a calamity like that?
Yes.
That's terrible of me to say. But I mean, you know, there's so much stuff that it doesn't get the credit for, and then everybody says Hogan and Bischoff killed it. Well, I don't think they did because there was other stuff going on, but that brought them credibility for a while to get names like that. But nobody looks at it that way.
Amen.
Oh my goodness.
Wrestling.
I love wrestling.
Yeah.
Except for what? I don't know who this person is, but they put Karen Angle in it. And Karen Angle shouldn't be. No.
Oh, God.
No. And it's, by the way, it's Karen Jared.
Hey, Karen Jared, by the way. Yeah.
I will say, I love seeing that her son, Cody, or Jeff's, I guess, adopted son now, Kurt's son, he's getting involved with some of the local wrestling shows down here. And, you know, he's going against, like, guys that I've been on shows with, like Jeremiah Plunkett. Like, he's calling them out on Facebook and everything. And I love seeing that. I love hearing it get brought up on Jeff's podcast, too. So, like, it's
That's
just
sick.
It's so funny how it all comes together. But I joked again that, you know, like, Jeff took the job with AEW because Karen needed another Botox session or something, but that's terrible. That's terrible of me to say.
Wow.
I've actually enjoyed Jeff Jarrett this round.
He is so good.
See, I'm not a fan.
I mean, his longevity. I will say, you know, it pissed me off last year with Ric Flair's last match where people said he's the best heel in the business when he was pushing people that he knew in the crowd, and people thought it was just a random stranger, and they said that makes him the best heel in the business. The hell it does. You know, it irritated me, but you know, it is what it is. But his longevity and the fact that he's been able to work for all these companies on and off and still look in the great shape that he does at his age now. I mean, my hat's off to him.
Did he work for ECW at all?
I don't think he did.
I was gonna say because he's worked if he worked for ACW, he's worked for like every major promotion that has come down the pipe in the last.
I think they're the only one that he hasn't worked for.
I didn't think so either. I was just wondering.
I mean, he's done it all. He's done it all, and he's survived it all. So good on him.
I mean, holy cow! I mean, you guys to talk about wrestling, and of course everything is upcoming here and now. And I've actually been letting my TV stream on Peacock tonight, and there's been some really good stuff, including stuff regarding the $1 Million Man. There was the whole thing. They've been doing a whole thing of Best of WWE tonight, which they've actually done pretty good. They've done Ted, and they did Andre tonight, which like one of the first couple matches was a best of 5 falls. With a 6-man tag that had like Billy White Wolf, Chief J Strongbow teaming with Andre to go against the Executioners and Bruiser Brody, and that was that was like October of '76 that happened at the Garden.
Wow,
that's when the freak you can like weave the ropes. You can pull the top and middle together and like make a mouth. That's how loose the ropes were. No, I mean, and then Andre's matches all throughout that. Yeah, even with Andre and Hogan at Shea Stadium in '80, and now right now they're sending the matches evolved around money. They had Jack Briscoe and Roddy Piper, and Piper used a roll of pennies to knock out Briscoe to win the match. And then now they've got the Race and Flair now because of Race offering $10,000 to anybody
for the bounty.
Yeah, the bounty. So, like I said, they're doing some good stuff here tonight. We could just let it stream, So, I mean, they're putting some really good old stuff on here tonight. And yeah,
I was gonna say, speaking of that bounty promo, if you need any more reason to go to my YouTube channel, I actually recreated that promo for a storyline I was in last year and cut a bounty promo. So if you want to see that, that's on my YouTube channel as well.
Oh yeah.
Huge Harley fan. So I mean, he was the best.
Oh no, Harley's one of the best, one of the greatest of all time. Obviously, I mean, he didn't hold the title 8 times for any reason whatsoever,
And he didn't escort Flair out of the country multiple times because he was a pushover either. So.
right,
man, legend, absolute legend.
This is me. I'm bringing the old school around, and Zmiz is the one that's keeping up current and bringing all the new. So we're trying to bring a whole we're trying to make the best pot of chili in wrestling.
Exactly.
So to speak.
And they can both coexist together. I don't care what anybody says. They can coexist together.
Yeah.
Well, one of the arguments that we always have, Ruby and I, is I'm actually a fan of comedy wrestling. So I enjoy some of the comedy aspects, and he doesn't all the time.
Right.
But he's warming up to some of them. He's like, okay. His favorite wrestler is Danhausen.
Okay,
he won't tell you that.
Now, wait a minute. No. Okay.
It took me a while to come around on Danhausen. It took me a while until I saw him like doing the Simpsons stuff, and then I finally got a little bit of what he was doing. But I'm more a fan of the character than the in-ring work itself. But wearing the muumuu and all that's good stuff. I'll say it's good stuff.
I think he needs to be a manager, but that's me personally.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Ruby. Say what you want to say.
Saying, I like comedic promos when you're outside of the ring, but there's maybe like 1 or 2 things maybe that would get the crowd over, like either something like the bushwhacker biting, someone's butt, trying to get out, something goofy, something like that. But I don't know, just like, I've seen like in a fatal 4-way with somebody throw like an air grenade and then everybody sprawls out to a corner. Like,
don't disrespect Chikara. Don't disrespect Chikara.
I will disrespect that to the day because I was like, that is stupid. Don't do it. Stop it.
No, dude, Soldier Ant saved their lives.
Stop it now. Don't do it.
I have to ask, just because I was involved with this spot one time. What are your thoughts on the lion cock spot? Do you know what that is?
The lion?
It's where somebody gets down on one knee in the ring and they put their fist up like this, and then everybody just gravitates to them and takes a nut shot.
Oh God!
So they walk.
No, there's like different ways. Like one guy did a flip over the rope. Me personally, I went to do a Shining Wizard and did it, but we did it at a show, and all the guys in the locker room ended up feeding out in the middle of this 6-man tag for it. And then ultimately, the last person out was the only female wrestler in the room. She just walks up to him and stands there like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then the match goes back to normal. But like, so it has its place. Comedy wrestling has its place.
Oh my God!
My favorite is still my favorite comedy spot in professional wrestling goes to Evil Uno and Stu Grayson.
Oh,
when they were player 1 and player 2. Okay, player dos actually it was. And somebody did a leg kick, and they had not an N64, but they had a Nintendo controller on their side of their leg, and he froze in the middle of the ring, and like the guy's just like walking around like what's he doing and stuff. Evil Uno then comes in and starts hitting one of the A buttons, and Stu starts punching dude in the face.
Jesus Christ.
I lost it. Like, I'm like, this is brilliant, great stuff, and that's why I became a fan of Smash Bros.
Oh man.
So there's one thing I will go back, because there's actually a promotion I worked for down in Southern Illinois. It was about 10 years into my career. It was like in 05, going early 06. I don't know, but he was a manager. I don't know what the whole premise behind his gimmick was, but he dressed like Dick Tracy for whatever reason. But of all things, how far are we back in gamers? Like, how old school are we in gaming? The reason why I'm asking you this, do you remember the Power Glove from Nintendo?
Yes.
Yeah.
This dude wore a Power Glove to the freaking ring and was doing some type of...
I've worked him.
I can't remember his name offhand, but it's like...
Trey Tackett.
What was it?
Is it Trey Tackett?
That could be it, man.
Because I worked him.
I knew of a photo. If I see him, I'll probably recognize him.
Because I worked outside the ring
as the manager. He's like pushing all these buttons and freaking, like cock somebody, cold cock somebody, and like when the refs stop looking, and then freaking helps his guys win. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm sitting here, I'm looking this in the back. I'm like, what the hell am I just looking at here?
Wrestling.
Oh my God! It's also the same where GQ was taking a trip with us as well, and believe it or not, he was actually hardcore champion of this promotion at this point. So yeah, give your entertainment value, but we were sitting in the back. We really didn't have no room for a dressing room, and because we had to go outside on the big porch with the stairs going down. We had to try to make room, but outside was across the way to an apartment complex, and GQ makes the joke and yells out the question of these product towns. Anybody know where any strip joints are around this place? And there's somebody sitting on their balcony happening at the time, and he starts yelling directions to where the strip club is.
Yes, that's a good man.
I'm thinking to myself, oh my God,
that's funny.
I'm like, I can't wait for this to be over. I'm like, thanks a lot, GQ, man. It was like, now you're just drawing attention to us, and where am I going to drop trow now? So, thanks a lot, bro. Oh my gosh. So, like I said, we've got, like I said, man, I've got, if I can just, because I've just been in this business for so long, and I've had so many roads. I've got road stories galore. Some that are some funny, some are not to brag about too much.
Right.
But other than that, man, it's just we take we have our good times, we have our fun times, and then we have our sometimes our unforgettable times in this business. But no, well, man, I think that's pretty much all that we've got on our plate. Z, do you?
We covered a lot.
No, man, this has been way more fun than I was planning it to
I'm
be.
glad to
Like,
hear it.
I knew we were gonna have fun, but like, I've had a good time tonight.
I mean, look, we even killed a computer in the process, so we did something right.
Yeah, it's the high energy from Restream pulling off your browser, soaking up your battery. So there you go. You can blame Restream for that. So. Oh my! But no, I'm going to do this here one more time.
I appreciate
get his
that,
stuff
man.
up there. Get his stuff up there.
There we go. One more time. Once again, it's Hollywood Flynn Hendrix, current AIWF television champion. Make sure you get the scanning that code if you're not doing it here live watching with us here tonight. I've been going through his links and everything else. He's got some interesting stuff for sale other than what he has for his merchandise. He's got a lot of, make sure you're following him on all his social media and just go check out his promos, his matches, everything else. He's got great content out there. So
thank you. I really appreciate that.
So we see the sexy, TV title around your waist. What's the belt you're holding in your hand?
So that kind of goes back to the promo, and you probably couldn't see it when I had the belts beside me, but it was underneath the TV title as well. It goes back to the bounty promo I cut last year, where I was trying to become the UCW Ultimate Champion on top of being the Southern States Champion. Well, nobody could capitalize on the bounty. Couldn't get the title from the guy before he retired. So I did what all great heels do. I pulled a Ted DiBiase and had my own title made. So
yes,
that is the Flynn Hendrix Entertainment Heavyweight Championship, and it's got my voiceover logo, and then it's got the I Know You Hear Me side plates. So everywhere I go, that belt's with me, even if that's the only championship I'm carrying. It's still relevant, so it gets heat.
It's a beautiful belt, actually.
Thank you.
So that's why it caught my eye.
And I'll be honest, I was like kind of torn when I had it made. It's like, do I want to get a solid blue strap? Do I want to get a solid yellow strap? What stands out more? And I just went, double-sided, and lo and behold, like, people hated it the second it came out. So just because I touched it, they hated it. So it works.
I love
it's still real to them.
Love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think Zack Ryder didn't get the credit that he deserved when he was Zack Ryder. I mean, Matt Cardona's shown his worth now, but when he made the Internet Championship and had the YouTube show and all that stuff, they should have put a rocket to his ass cheeks and just sent him
and
flying.
They even had a story, whether they realized it or not. He was a cancer survivor. You could have made him the most sympathetic person out there, and he looked the part. He had the charisma, all of it. And I'd be lying now if I didn't say, like, that is the one. If I could have one match on the indies right now, a match with him, that would be it. So, I mean, like, that guy,
Herb, let's do it.
Doing it right. He knows what he's doing, and he's definitely proven that he's a big time player. So, if I could get in the ring with him, 100%. I'd be all for it.
I gotta do this. He said something about how improving his worth in WWE. I'm sorry. It's something just brought me up to this.
Uh-oh.
An old meme we had.
I will say, first off, that's an elected official assaulting that poor handicapped man. But he's got to be the bravest or the dumbest person I know to take that bump where you can't protect yourself going off a stage like that. Like, no. Like, I'm sorry, no. God.
Zack Ryder should have been treated. Matt Cardona. We should just get rid of the Zack Ryder. But Matt Cardona should have been treated so much better because that guy is a true talent.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, they did right by him a couple times, and we thought they were going to do something with him, but
it always
no.
he got there, then the creative just stopped. Like the Intercontinental title for one night was brilliant because, like he even said after the fact, that fits the character. You wouldn't expect him to have a long-term reign with it, but the U.S. title before that, the tag team titles with Brian Myers. Like, there's so many different things you could have done there, but it obviously worked out the way it was supposed to because he's absolutely killing it now.
Yeah, he's smashing it. And he made his own thing. When he came out of WWE and they released him, he's like, I don't want to sign with AEW. I don't want to sign with anybody. I'm going to go and make my own path. And hats off to you because you're doing it, and I like.
And he doesn't need a big company behind him, but he's worked for all three of the big ones now. So, I mean, he even trended like over UFC when he did his first death match. I know that's not something we're fond of, but it just says everything right there. Like, if an independent wrestler is trending over the biggest UFC pay-per-view at the time, he's clearly doing something right.
Absolutely.
I can't shake my head yes anymore. Like,
don't get me wrong, too. I've had people, like question me having this title here, but the fact now that he's carrying a replica of the women's tag team championship because his wife is one of the women's tag team champions, that's genius marketing right there too, because it's so outlandish that you wouldn't expect a guy to do that, but here we are, half of the tag team champions. Like, it's good stuff, and it makes you want to hate him that much more.
I call it brilliant marketing myself.
Yes, absolutely. And the fact that people thought it was really the belt when he went to Japan, they thought that was the real championship. Like, that seals the deal for me. They thought he took the actual championship over to Japan. God.
Hello, WWEshop.com. I'm just dropping $500. No big deal.
Thank you. And not like he was there in the arena when it happened, so he just went and bought a replica. That definitely didn't happen. He took the real thing. I give up.
He probably already had the replica.
He probably did.
No.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. If I ever feel bad about my toy addiction or like trying to hide a box from my wife when it comes, I can easily just pull up his social media and show the mountain of boxes he has outside of his door. And just the fact that you can't even walk through one of his rooms, and I can feel a little bit easier on my conscience about it.
I watch him and Ethan Page always on their toy hunt stuff.
Oh my God.
Well, Ethan's not doing it anymore.
Right.
He's changing his stuff. That made me sad, but whatever. I respect it. He gave me good moments and times.
But I mean, it's the thrill of the hunt, because I just trying to collect this stuff. It's either you get it online or you hope it shows up in a store. So it's cool to see like that people are still out there doing this stuff. And it gives you the nostalgia of being a kid again.
Yep. I'm a hunt kid. I will not pre-order. I will not. Even my NECA gargoyle collection upstairs, it'll come to me when I find it.
I'll be honest, I'm guilty of pre-ordering too much. So,
I mean, I showed him off last week. I'll show him off again. This is my $5 find.
Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, I love that.
Awesome, Jamie Noble. Yeah. Yep.
Now you just need a pet raccoon to go with it.
I need Nydia. That's what I need. I mean, a raccoon would be. What if I can take my? No, my wife would be so mad if I took her raccoon.
Totally worth it.
I'm a huge collector in toys. I have tons upstairs, figures all around. You can see. So.
Yeah, it's an addiction.
Yep. 100%.
Man. Well. Man, I'll tell you guys, like I said, we've been pouring in a lot here this week, and I mean, well over into 3 hours when we started. So yeah, I mean, but it didn't seem like it though.
No, it always
didn't seem like it at all. At least not to us, because we just kept things moving.
Yep.
Constantly moving. But speaking of constantly moving here, you've got upcoming title defenses here. Like I said, I'm sure hopefully Herb will be still up, so you can send him a DM.
Yep.
And
he's already texted me. Like, of course Herb's still up.
Yeah. That's funny. So, yeah. Like I said, I couldn't thank you enough for coming on here.
Of course.
I mean, to speak with two guys who actually get this business, is behind the microphone, knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I say, you're just working hard at it, and
I appreciate it.
Hopefully, you're going to be up in this area, maybe down the road.
Yep, I'm going to make it happen one way or the other. So we'll be up there.
There, definitely. And if that happens, hopefully, it's going to be on a day that hopefully Mr. Zmiz here is not too busy. Maybe we can somehow get some type of group photo together or something.
Yeah. Oh, say no more.
That'd be sick.
Say no more.
That'd be sick.
We'll make it happen. One
there
way,
you go.
Even if we have to get him on FaceTime to get him in the picture, we'll make it happen.
No. If Herb gets you down there at SICW, I'll definitely make a trip. I
appreciate that. We'll make it happen. We will make it happen.
Darn right.
I mean, I still want to go down there just because Greg Anthony's there, but if I get to watch you with him too, That's a plus.
That definitely is. I would love that. I would absolutely love it. Not like I'm trying to angle my way into anything or anything.
Funny.
I love it.
Awesome. Flynn, well, like you said, thank you very much for joining us here this evening. And like I said, best of luck here to you, many more years to come here in this business here for you, and of course, much more success. We always wishing that upon you. Once again, spread the word, let everybody know what we're about. And like you said, they got somebody who wants to take a Sunday night to reflect on their thoughts in the business. Somebody who really understands it like we do. Then definitely send them our way, because we always love the band. We always love the band.
You covered.
So you know that.
I'll get you some names, and I'll get you guys connected and introduced. So we'll make it happen.
Awesome.
You're awesome, man. You're awesome.
Any final thoughts from you, my friend?
Man, all I can say is, if I'm going to be in a show in your area, please go out and support. And if you can't, scan that QR code. Even if you can't support financially, a like, a subscribe, a share, anything, it all helps. And if you are able to get something, just know that a portion of that is going to go help some great causes. I may be a bad guy when the red light's going, but I'm a good guy at heart. And I just want everybody to have fun. I want everybody to be entertained. And I want to make a big community out of this and let people enjoy wrestling again. So do all this, subscribe to this show, because if you enjoyed what we did tonight for 3 hours for you, I mean, God knows what else they're going to be doing. So subscribe to their show, subscribe to mine, and just support local wrestling. That's all you can do.
And you got to subscribe from Falls Count Everywhere, by the way, on your YouTube channel, so you're good.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's going to be coming back to you guys too.
Awesome. Zmiz, any final thoughts from you?
No, man, this is like I'm over here trying to think of words to type on Twitter, Facebook, everything, trying to get stuff promoted to We Talk Wrestling. Like,
talked with short hairy Ewok. Go check it out.
No, dude, we let's pull the curtain back just a little bit. It's hard. You know how it is as doing podcasts and all that, and doing the wrestling stuff. When you don't see the views and you don't see the things happening that you want to see, it's hard to stay focused. It's hard to stay in the game. So, like, these kind of interactions that we're having, and Ruby and I trying to get our TikTok now off the ground and really get that promoted so we can go live on another platform and have that ability. Like, I got called thirsty this week because I posted on my own Facebook page of We Talk Wrestling that I created so many years ago just so I could talk shit about wrestling with me and my 10 friends. And now we have over, 1,800, I think, people on it. And now no promoting, no nothing. Yeah. It's just been word of mouth. I'm not trying to be big, but just asking them to, like, help us out to get to the next level and get to the next reach. I got called thirsty. So you know what? If you call me thirsty, guess what?
Drink up.
So thirsty because I want to make this happen. This industry is what I love.
Absolutely.
It's what I grew up enjoying. I could not. You talk about mental health. If it wasn't for professional wrestling on my lowest days, I might not be sitting here talking to you right now.
I understand.
That's 100% statement. If it wasn't for Monday Night Raw, if it wasn't for SmackDown, if it wasn't for WCW Thunder and Nitro, if it wasn't for ECW, if it wasn't for Impact Wrestling, that was my escape from my every day. Like when shit was hitting the fan, I knew I always had wrestling to go back to. I knew my great grandma and I could sit down and watch wrestling because that's what got me into wrestling. And it's my drive, it's my passion, it's what I push my kids to watch. I mean, I don't tell them to do it, but when my kid lays out his favorite 12 wrestlers and I lay out my favorite 12 wrestling action figures and they happen to be kind of the same, like, that's a cool freaking feeling.
And you're making memories for him too.
So, like, no, I love this industry. I love this business. I want to be a part of it. And if it's just me doing this, so be it. If it's me being behind a commentary table where I feel comfortable, so be it. If it's me finally being a manager, let's go.
Right? I mean, either way, though, you're bringing eyes to the product and you're probably introducing somebody that's never been a fan or never known somebody to watch. You're making them a fan. So you're definitely contributing in a great way.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. This is the boost we need, and hopefully Ruby feels it because we are trending in the right direction, even if we're not trending.
It's the long game. You gotta play the long game.
Yeah, and all I gotta say is, if I'm thirsty, I want another refill of this Haterade you're soaking up. So I'm gonna guzzle it down and burp it. How's that?
I gave the best gift I could find of the most sexiest woman drinking some water. Yeah, I control with the best of them. Let's go.
White t-shirt
Thank
required.
Thank you again.
Oh, of course. Thank you, guys.
All right. Guys, this has been episode number 112 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. We thank you for joining us here tonight. For our guest of honor here, Hollywood Flynn Hendrix, and of course, my partner in crime, the Gem City Mouse, Zmiz. I am Rough Cut Rick Ruby. Stay tuned into our Facebook page throughout our next week, because we will have a guest for episode number 113, and we'll let you know throughout the week who that guest is going to be. So we thank you very much for tuning in, and have a good rest of your night and a great week. We'll see you here next Sunday, 9 p.m. Central. We'll see you then.
Love you.
Thanks again for tuning in to tonight's episode of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. Don't forget our friends at the following: Outside the Ring STL, the Searcher and Hide podcast, and We Talk Wrestling. The Falls Count Everywhere podcast is an LTX Enterprises production.